And we are live. How's everybody doing tonight? My name is Anthony Brian Logan, and you're watching and/or listening to ABL Live. Thank y'all for joining me tonight. You could be almost anywhere in the world, but you're right here with me live on the show, and I appreciate y'all for that. We got a whole lot going on all over the internets, all over mainstream media, social media, everywhere. And I don't know where to start. First of all, shout out to El Salvador. Shout out to their president, Nayib Bukele. We have a whole lot to discuss about that, including the gringo senator from the United States trying to go down there and strong arm the criminal out of their prison. We'll talk about that a little bit more a little bit later. Also, we have a proposed ban of junk food like candy and soda from being eligible to be purchased with SNAP benefits, aka food stamps. I say this is a long time coming. I'm tired of people drinking Mountain Dew by the liter all day long, and that being subsidized by the government. And then when their teeth are completely rotted out of their face, when they get diabetes, when they get to be 1 trillion pounds, they go to the hospital and we got to pay for that as well. It makes no sense. We'll talk about that a little bit more a little bit later. Also, our Attorney General, Pam Bondi, destroying the state of Maine over their transgender sports policy. We'll talk about that a little bit more a little bit later. Also, the Blue Origin space ride, space trip, whatever you want to call it, featuring Jeff Bezos' girlfriend, Gayle King, and a few other girl power ladies. We'll talk about all those things and a whole lot more on tonight's episode of ABL Live. And again, thank y'all for joining. You guys are the best audience anywhere on these interwebs. If you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. Yes, today is Wednesday, right? The week goes so fast. This whole year is going fast. It's like, man, can I get some breaks on time? It's like I'm riding in the vehicle. Shout out to Gayle King. I'm taking the ride in the time vehicle, and we're going 1,000 miles an hour. It's just going. It's like, yo, can I get a little bit of a break? Can you just give me a little rest stop, something? I mean, good night. I feel like it was just December yesterday, and here we are. It's the middle of April. The sun's shining, the birds chirping, the flowers blooming. It's crazy, but shout out to you guys. I'm definitely appreciative of y'all being here today. If you enjoy the content, if you enjoy the video, if you enjoy what I'm saying right now, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. We got a lot to discuss. There is a whole lot. I got a lot of new videos, a lot of new topics. I got a little bit of everything. But yeah, shout out to El Salvador. We need more people like that in this world. Those who will do the best thing for their citizenry. That's all we ask for as people. Hey, if you're going to be an elected official, whether you're going to be something like a local person, a mayor, city council, state senate, U.S. Senate, House, president, vice president, whoever you are, just serve the interests of the people rather than outside forces that are not going to actually help the people. That's all we ask for. The president of El Salvador, Nayib Bukele, he's doing what's right for his people. Oh, human rights violations. What are we talking about? From the same people that will allow boys to go into girls' locker rooms? What kind of human rights violations are you talking about specifically? Why are we allowing girls to have to deal with boys in the locker room? I don't really get it. It makes no sense to me. Why are we we're kind of regressing. A lot of the common sense things we knew to do, things we knew not to do in previous years, we're just doing them. And then we're like, oh, well, why did little Johnny impregnate little Tammy? Well, maybe because you let little Johnny in a locker room where you shouldn't have been with little Tammy. Maybe that's why that happened. I mean, good grief. I feel like a lot of times when I'm having these discussions about certain things, it's like I'm educating children. I feel like I am in elementary school and I'm a second grade teacher teaching children, but these are adults, full grown adults, older than me. I feel like they're children because they don't understand basic things. Now, I understand a child. If a child does not understand basic things, I get it because they're a child. They don't know a lot because they're children. but you're 55 years old. You'd have been in the military. You don't work for 30 years. It's like, man, you don't understand that a boy can't become a girl and vice versa. You don't understand that basic fact. You don't understand that if the border is wide open, we're going to have crime and violence. You don't really get that. And the worst thing is trying to go retrieve the MS-13 gang member from a prison in El Salvador. Like, where they do that at? How are you going to listen? When have you ever heard of such a thing? The guy is not a U.S. citizen. ABL, he's not illegal. He has the right to be here. He is not a citizen. He is a citizen of El Salvador. So let's flip it. Imagine there was a person, a U.S. citizen, living illegally in El Salvador. He gets deported. A judge in El Salvador says, oh, you didn't deport him right. Well, now he's in the prison in the USA. So imagine somebody from El Salvador coming to Washington, D.C. talking about, hey, yo, Trump, come outside right now. Come outside right now. Hey, that guy you got in there that was here in El Salvador illegally and is now in your prison, we need him back. Excuse me? Why would we give you our citizen who's already locked up? What for what? Why would we do that? Why would we do that? It's like what happened with Brittany Griner. Remember the whole Brittany Griner situation? Imagine somebody from the United States just going and say, yo, I want to talk to Putin right now. You gonna go to the Kremlin and knock on the door. Hey, Putin, come outside right now. We want Brittany Griner. They'd be like, is he drunk? Is he okay? Well, look, you can have her, but we need the warlord of death. What they call him? The merchant of death. Yeah, we need that international arms dealer y'all got in y'all prison who is a Russian citizen. We'll give you back this woman for her. And that was a case of the U.S. trying to get a U.S. citizen, not the U.S. trying to go to Russia and get a Russian citizen, which is the equivalent of people trying to go to El Salvador to get that guy back to the USA. I mean, you would never see somebody from the United States go to Russia to try and retrieve a Russian citizen from a Russian prison to let them just be chilling in the USA, especially when the Russian citizen is a criminal, a gang member, a terrorist. To me, it's just kind of crazy. But yeah, shout out El Salvador. Shout out to all the sovereign countries out there who lock criminals up, who want the best thing for their citizenry. The criminals are not really, they're not really important. If you want to be a criminal, you want to be a narco, you want to delete people, attack people, assault people, you want to do all this stuff, okay. Like I always say, go straight to the penitentiary, big rocks, little rocks. And it doesn't matter if some gringo washes on your shore talking about let him out. Nah, he's where he needs to be. So you could go back on your plane and tell them what I said. Okay, so yeah, shout out to you guys. I appreciate y'all for joining. If you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff that'll help me out tremendously. We got a lot to get through today, but first things first, before I get into anything, Gregortron, I'm gonna read your super chat right now since it came up on my chat. Gregortron says, shout out to my homie Marcus. He loves your show. Hey, shout out Marcus. Thank you for watching, boss. I appreciate you. And shout out to all you guys for watching. I appreciate y'all as well. But a big shout out to the triple OG, the big homie, Marcus, if you're watching. Shout out to you, boss. But before we get into the videos, y'all know how I do. Shout out to the sponsors. Shout out to you guys, of course, because y'all are the main ones watching. Without you, there is no me. So thank y'all for being here. But shout out to patriotpost.us, your best source of news and information anywhere on these interwebs. Their link will always be in the description box, or just type patriotpost.us in your browser. And once you get there, tell them that ABL sent you. Shout out to ablmerch.com. We got the hats, t-shirts, stickers, hoodies, mugs, and more. Although we're getting past hoodie season. It's about to be 1,000 degrees in April. But we got all the merch that you need right there on the website, ablmerch.com. Also, please go to my regular website, anthonyblogan.com. That is ANTHONY, the letter B, LOGAN.com. Go to the front page of the website. There you'll be able to find articles for each video that I produce. And in each article, You'll be able to find sources from the left, from the right, from the center, from the Democratic, Republican, politically agnostic, whatever you want. I got it. As long as it's legal, it'll be right there on the website. Local, national, international, you name it, we got it right there on the front page of the website, anthonyblogan.com. Again, ANTHONY, the letter B, LOGAN.com. There it is right there in the chat. Thank you, Sheree, for posting the link. I appreciate you. Also, please go to the contact page of the website, anthonyblogan.com/contact-us. There you'll be able to find my email address, my email address, my UPS box, of course, my social media accounts, my Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, never going to call it X, TikTok. All those links are right there on the contact page of the website, anthonyblogan.com/contact-us. And as I always say, if you're ever wondering if you're getting scammed or not, please cross-reference the method of communication. I'm not going to be talking at you from the YouTube comment section. I won't give you some kind of 1,000-digit WhatsApp number. If you're getting that from someone who says that they're me, please don't do it. Don't send any Apple iTunes gift cards. You can donate to me very easily. Shout out to Llewellyn. Thank you for the super chat. I'll read that in a minute. But you can donate through super chat, and there's other links I have in the description section of the video, right up under the video right now if you're watching it live. Okay. Don't do anything else. Don't send Apple iTunes gift cards. Don't send anything shady to anybody. And that's just not for my channel. That's for all channels, because a lot of channels, no matter how big or small, have scammers that are on them. That's their job 24/7. All they do, they be in a halfway dirty t-shirt, flip-flops, no socks on. All their whole job is to scam you all day long. So let's not fall victim to that in 2025. We're trying to get this money and keep this money. All righty. But we got a whole lot going on. I want to get straight to the whole thing with SNAP benefits. Oh, man, because this one, like I said before, this is the biggest issue aside from Doge, in my humble opinion. Well, I'm exaggerating a little teeny bit. Doge, illegal aliens, national security, and right in that mix of important things is welfare benefits, but more specifically, what you're able to buy and the health of our people. Let me tell you something right here. I'm living in Appalachia, so I see people that are very poor, black, white, Puerto Rican, and candy stripe. And I see their condition. It's a lot of obesity. And you got to ask why. Why are poor people in the USA obese? When you go overseas, poor people are not obese. Because how are you able to be big like that if you're poor? What money do you have to buy enough food to make you obese? You don't have it. Poor people worldwide are not obese. How are you going to be 1,000 pounds and poor? The only way is if you eat a lot of food. And what's happening right now is people are abusing the welfare system, the EBT, WIC, TANF, SNAP, whatever. They're abusing the system, and they're eating all types of garbage. All types of garbage. Y'all know me. I'm a monk, pretty much, with my diet. I'm salmon and rice, and I'm dead serious. Like I'm not trying to be eating just to have a good time. I'm eating to put fuel in my body. My body is my temple. My body is my temple. My body is a Ferrari, and I treat it like that. I'm only going to put the highest of octanes of fuels in my body. If you have a nice car and you put in 93 or whatever the top gas is at the gas station, you put in that in your car, and you will do that and then drive straight up to a McDonald's and get everything on the menu. You go to the McDonald's drive-thru and spend $40 on yourself and take that straight to the face and then guzzle it down with a whole Mountain Dew. Appalachians love that Mountain Dew, tearing their teeth all the way up. They might have one tooth in their mouth at age 25 from the Mountain Dew. And I'm being for real when I say that. Now, not only do you have the Mountain Dew situation, you got with the teeth, you have a lot of diabetes, obesity, other problems that are going to tax the medical system. And we got to pay for that as taxpayers as well. How about we just stop subsidizing it? Hey, if you want to go some Mountain Dew, eat all kind of box food, candy, sugar. Matter of fact, look, we're so free in America. If you have your own money, what you can do is just go to the store and just buy a big bag of granulated sugar and just take that straight to the face. Straight to the face all day long. If you want to, you can do that. That's totally fine. But I don't think the government should pay for that. Like, it doesn't make any sense. And I was reading some of the comments talking about ABL, you think I don't deserve a candy bar because I'm poor? Deserve a candy bar? Since when was it the government's responsibility to give you a candy bar or some chicken tendies? Since when did the government have that job? The government is not your mom and dad. The government is the government. You're talking about helping people with food insecurity. It should be about survival and the person being able to thrive for a short period of time. It shouldn't be a permanent thing that lasts forever. Okay? You should get some core staples, rice, beans, some chicken, maybe something like that. That's about it. Okay? If you need water, if you have bad tap water or whatever it is, that should be pretty much all you get. Candy, Mountain Dew, ding dongs, ho-hos, where they do that at? Like, make that make sense. I don't understand. I don't get it. And you know what? When I was a kid, we had no money. We were struggling a lot, but there was never any welfare in our house. Never no welfare in the hood in Virginia, but somehow I was able to eat pretty decent meals. Mama had everything meal prepped, cooked, and it was good. It wasn't a bunch of sugar and fat and all that kind of stuff. I had actual real food, mashed potatoes, rice, some kind of green vegetable, like green beans, broccoli, chicken, fish, stuff like that, with no welfare benefits. So you mean to tell me, and again, we in the hood now, in the poor area now, but y'all telling me, oh, things are too expensive, ABL, we can't afford it. Not only did I experience that when I was a kid in the hood with no money, also when I got to be an adult and I went through a time where I had no money. I'm talking about where I have $20 to feed myself for a week, and I'm 6'3", 205 pounds. Y'all making excuses. Y'all would get DoorDash and then say it's too expensive to get fruit from the store. Please stop playing games. DoorDash, you know how much that costs for one meal? Y'all don't understand how to shop. I have to be a coach to tell you how to shop. Look, bag of rice, chicken breasts, and like avocados, any kind of fruit, oranges, apples, tomatoes, stuff like that for a little treat. But your main thing, you gotta get your protein, your carbohydrate, and you're good. Y'all will get, not you guys watching, but some of y'all will get straight up sugar. Box of cereal, box of honey buns, box of oodles and noodles, or y'all call it ramen noodles. Y'all get that with no real food. And when you look at it, after DoorDash, after going out to eat, after buying an iPhone, after shopping online, getting Shein, Fashion Nova, Amazon, all these boxes that you don't even open for like a week, but you put it in the Prime shipping, you get all of that. And at the end of it, you're like, hey, why am I so broke? It's because you don't understand how to spend money. You spend money frivolously and you buy the wrong things with your money rather than what you're supposed to buy. You don't understand how to spend money and you spend it on the wrong things. Am I preaching or am I preaching? So I don't want to hear nothing about, oh, it costs too much. Listen, I come from $0 and I've had points where I had no money. I'm talking about I got $20 to buy groceries and somehow I was able to do it. So yeah, shout out to everybody that understands how to shop. Not everybody understands that, and I get it. And I think that education is needed. I think this is a thing that should be taught in high school, really probably before that, elementary school. This should be taught in school because a lot of people just don't know. You know what? I overheard people talking, and they're both kind of big women. And they were like, okay, so what are we going to do to get something to eat? It was at night. It was like about 9 p.m. So what are we going to do to get something to eat? Either we get a salad or we go to Zaxby's. I'm like, is that your options right now? Why not just go to bed Y'all already like 350 pounds each. If you just went to bed right now, you'd be okay. You don't need a salad or some chicken tendies. What you need is to go to bed. But anyway, I'm getting triggered. So if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. Alrighty. I want to play this video right here about the Tennessee bill. This is a thing that a lot of states are trying to do as far as banning junk food like candy and soda from SNAP benefits. I think you have Indiana, Arkansas, Tennessee. What other states are doing this? And should this be a nationwide thing? Let's watch.
Tennessee lawmakers considering legislation.
Hold on, I don't have sound. Y'all give me a second. I think I'm good now. Let me see if that worked. Y'all probably heard it, but I didn't hear it in my headphones. There we go, perfect.
Tennessee lawmakers considering legislation that would majorly change the SNAP program. Thanks for joining us. I'm Casey Marler. Sarah Diamond off this afternoon. SNAP stands for Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program. You may also hear it referred to as an electronic benefit transfer, or EBT, or simply food stamps. Senate Bill 1154 and House Bill 1236 would enact the Tennessee Health SNAP Act. At its root, the bill aimed at preventing people from using SNAP benefits for the purchase of candy and soft drinks. It was sponsored by Rusty Crowe in the Senate and Jason Zachary in the House. News Channel 11's Karen Jenkins explains what the bill would change and how Tennesseans are reacting to the proposal. Karen?
Yeah, this bill wouldn't immediately cut off candy and soda from SNAP, but it would allow the state to request a waiver from the U.S. Department of Agriculture to do just that. But some moms say an exception should be made for certain health conditions. Using SNAP benefits to buy.
Now, like I was saying in my video, when you go to the store on the 1st, right around EBT card refresh time, the 30th, 31st through the 5th of the month, just go to Walmart. You get the best experience. You'll be able to see it. Observe the carts in Walmart, and you'll see it'll be top to bottom junk. And you know for 100% certain that person is using welfare benefits. 100%. Because it's not their money. When it's your money and you don't have a lot of it, you're going to be more picky with what you purchase at a grocery store. But they'll be in the store. It'll be a whole cart packed to the top with junk.
Benefits to buy candy and soda may soon be off limits in Tennessee if the Tennessee Health SNAP Act continues its course towards approval. The House bill, sponsored by Knoxville Republican Jason Zachary, passed the House yesterday. The Senate version, sponsored by Johnson City's Republican Rusty Crowe, is still in committee.
Like I said in my video, these are East Tennessee guys, which is Appalachia. Okay, I'm out here in East Tennessee as well. And I see it. Once you go up in the mountains and you see these people, you could tell what the diet has done to them.
Zachary says the bill is about providing healthier options with taxpayer money.
Anyone can do anything with their private dollars. But when you take government assistance or part of government programs, we get to set the rules. And we're going to make the decision in Tennessee that we're going to align public policy with public health.
But SNAP users who oppose the bill say sometimes sugary snacks are needed for certain health conditions. Christina Bobo runs a Facebook group of more than 20,000 users who have questions about SNAP. She says this new bill doesn't sit well with many in the group.
A lot of our community has been really concerned about this bill, and it mostly comes from people who have special needs children.
Bobo's daughter, Annalise, is special needs. She has ARFID, Avoidance Restrictive Food Intake Disorder. Bobo says getting her daughter to eat at all is an issue, and sometimes the only thing she can tolerate would be banned.
It's usually like,
Now let's go back. Now, like I said in my video, I don't know about people that have special needs or the ARFID thing or whatever. But look, see, this kind of person right here, and I'm not trying to attack this person. Seriously, I'm not trying to attack this person, but you can see it. You can see the teeth. They're not really the way it's supposed to be. And you can see the weight. That is caused by diet. 100%. 100%. If the diet was better, she'd be in better health. And if you're not in good health, you're going to be going to the hospital. You're going to be on medications. It's just going to be a mess. And I've seen people really just suffer. You getting limbs amputated. Didn't LeVar Ball have his foot amputated? A lot of people got diabetes. They just eating sugar all day long. A lot of sodas, any kind of sweet drinks. That's going to hurt you. That's going to hurt your body. Now, RFK is doing the good thing by trying to get the food dyes and whatnot out. That's good, but we need to take responsibility as far as what we actually put into our body. And I know the government does not have that responsibility to make you eat healthy, but if they're going to be funding your diet, then they can pick what you eat and what you don't eat. If they're going to fund it, if you don't want the government to have a say-so in what you eat or what you're able to purchase with food stamp benefits, then don't rely on the food stamp benefits. Buy whatever you want to buy with your own money. Like I said, you could just get a bag of granulated sugar and just eat that to the face every day. You could put it in the bowl and do Tony Montana, put your whole face in it, and snort it, whatever you want to do. If you want to do that. Now, obviously, for the smooth brains out there, ABL did not say snort a whole bowl of granulated sugar. Okay? Obviously. Don't try this at home to you grown kids out there that's like 45 years old. But anyway, do whatever you want to on your own dime. But when it comes to the federales, why would they fund that? So they're going to fund you getting sick, and then they got to fund you again when you go to the hospital because you're sick from what they funded. To me, that seems like it doesn't. It's not very smart at all. So yeah, shout out to all you guys that understand that. And shout out to everybody that has their own money and wants to eat to their heart's content. Hey, I appreciate you exercising your right to be a big back. You have that right in this country. You could do whatever you want to do, aside from being a boy and becoming a girl because biology has entered the chat. But I digress. Now, this is pretty interesting. Have you guys seen these videos on the TikToks of Chinese manufacturers exposing where a lot of your top brands come from? Now, this particular style or genre of video has been around for a long time, but it is being highlighted because of all the tariffs and trade war talk is being brought back to the surface. Let's watch this and see where a lot of your fancy bags actually come from.
Do you recognize this style, this bag? Of course you do. For the past more than 30 years, we have been OEM factory for most of the luxury brands around the world. Gucci, Prada, Coach, Louis Vuitton, you name it. But for this, I am not proud because we were only making our wages. The profit margin for the people who are actually making the bags are very low. What I'm really proud of is that first, we have the best quality control. Two, we have the best craftsmanship. You know, Chinese craftsmen are always intelligent and diligent. Three, we have the most complete supply chain. We always get what we want, like zippers, accessories of any kind, any color, and leathers immediately. Now, as the USA and its little European brothers are trying to refuse Chinese goods, don't you think luxury brands are not trying to move their OEM out of China? Yes, they did, but they failed because the OEM factories out of China, they don't have good quality control and they don't have as good craftsmanship. Their workers are either too expensive or too lazy. Three, they don't have any supply chain. They always have trouble getting leather or zippers or any accessories. That is why they failed, and that is why we will always be the best OEM factory for luxury brands. Why don't you just contact us and buy from us? You won't believe the prices we give you.
All right, there we go. So again, this is a guy out there in the OEM factory allegedly talking about the bags, the luxury brands that a lot of Americans consume, where they actually come from. And he says, hey, well, if you try to take it out of China, you guys don't have the capacity. You guys don't have the supply chain. You guys don't have the artisans. You guys don't have the quality, et cetera, so on and so forth. Now, there's a lot to that. I'm not going to sit here and deny that a lot of what he said is the truth. I'm not going to sit here and say that he's a liar. He's not lying, but it's a little bit deeper than that. First of all, when you say that you're getting paid very low wages, how low are we talking? How low are we talking? That's ultimately the biggest attracting factor to China is the very, very low cost of production. Furthermore, what's the environmental impact? What are you doing to your local areas? Okay, like there's a lot of questions that goes into it, but ultimately what he's saying is not wrong. And I think what's going to have to happen is if Americans want to stop being so dependent upon China, we got to stop being so dependent upon things, upon material possessions. Furthermore, these luxury brands, quote unquote luxury brands, it's just a waste. I think we all know that these things come from these Chinese factories where they get paid next to no money. So just like, for example, a pair of Jordans. I'm not even really a Jordan kind of guy or athletic fashion shoe kind of person. I've not done that since I was in high school, to be totally honest with you. But anyway, a lot of those kind of shoes, they'll cost a whole bunch of money. And you could get a so-called replica for much cheaper. Some are going to say, oh, that's fake. How is it fake? It probably come from the same factory. What's the difference? You see, I don't care about name brands. I care about clothes that I like, that fit me well. Like these shirts right here. These are the Built Basics shirts. The Luxe. Built. If you watch, I need to get a brand deal. I like the way their shirts fit. And to be totally honest, I don't want any name branding on it. There is a little name brand at the bottom on the hem. It says BYLT. I want to go ahead and just cover that up. I don't want any kind of name brands. All I'm concerned about is looking good. It's like wearing a suit. When I'm wearing a suit, I want to look good in the suit. It's not about the name brand on it. It's not going to be Kenneth Cole reaction and blazing on the shoulders of my blazer. That ain't what's going to happen. It's just going to be a suit and it's going to look good. The brand is irrelevant. Same thing with shoes. Same thing with anything. Okay? These hats, I'm more worried about how they look, how they feel, the quality of them, and the slogan on it. I'm not really worried about the name brand. It's got to be Nike, this, that, and the third. Who cares? Ultimately, how does it look? And I think, again, that Americans got to stop being so dependent and so consumed with consumerism and name brands. They don't mean anything. They mean nothing. But anyway, I'm getting triggered again. Shout out to Bill. Hey, Bill, give me a brand deal, bro. I know I'm a political figure, kind of conservative, but that's fine. Don't worry about that. Just go ahead and give me the brand deal because I will sell these shirts like cocaine in the 80s. But anyway, let's keep on going. Now, there's more here. Where are we going to go next? Oh, see, the tariffs. The tariffs. So, a lot of people don't like the tariffs. They say, oh, the tariffs are too oppressive and we can't afford anything. We can't get these cheap Chinese goods for the cheap price we get them. What are we going to do? But there's a reason why the tariffs are necessary. And again, this is Charlemagne the God, or we call him Charlemagne, know the God at the end. And the center, that's the comedian Ryan Davis. And over there, that is Andrew Schultz, also a comedian, but the co-host of the show with Charlemagne. Let's watch.
See, the conversation that kills me when they talk about it's going to bring manufacturing back to America. First of all, it's going to take several years to build factories in America. Yep. And in 5 to 10 years, it's not going to create no new jobs because it's going to be robots running every motherfucking thing anyway.
But it's more about national security than it is about creating jobs.
There you go.
You need to be able to create your own submarines. You need to have an assembly line. You need to have the manufacturing capability to create the devices that protect you. And if you don't, you're in a real liability when it goes to global war. We couldn't even have, we didn't even have masks during COVID.
Whose fault is that?
They made.
No. It's America's fucking fault.
So how do we fix it?
That's what the question.
So how do we fix it? Then? We have to incentivize.
We gotta be more like the Chinese. We should be focused on discipline.
That's what we're doing.
We should be focused on discipline. We should be focused on education.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? We should be focused on eating healthy.
Yes.
It's really the truth.
They tariff us, so we should tariff them back. That's exactly what we should do. We should do what they do.
Exactly. So, Charlemagne, you're trying to avoid agreeing with these guys when they say that tariffs are a good thing. You're trying to avoid it, but you pretty much talked yourself into it. Oh, we got to be more like them. Oh, okay. So when they tariff us and they don't consume our products, we should be more like that, right? Oh, that don't really count. So when you say we should be more like them, only in certain ways, but not in all the ways, like what are we talking about? At the end of the day, we have to be able to produce things here, and it's got to start somewhere. We cannot keep kicking the can down the road. We got to produce things here. It's very simple. All right. So yeah, shout out to Charlemagne, shout out to Ryan Davis and Andrew Schultz. Let's keep on rocking and rolling. Now, this is crazy. All right. So you guys have seen the stores where everything is locked up behind glass, behind bars, whatever they got. And you got to push a little button to get an attendant to come open it up for you. Well, this has just pictures of the item rather than the item available to grab or any kind of bars on the front. Let's watch.
They got pictures of the stuff because everybody steal everything.
That's some lazy shit. That ain't because people be stealing. I feel like restocking the shelf.
They got pictures of the.
So, okay, my question is, how do you even buy anything? Just point to the picture. Hey, Mr. Store clerk, yeah, let me get that picture right there. Let me get that box of sugar. Can I get that? Yeah, go on the back and get that for me. Like, what is the purpose? Like, if I got to go through all of this, why would I even go to a store at all? I'll just buy everything online and have it sent right to my house. Why would I even? And you know what? Here's something else. Can I say this? Hot take, but not really a hot take. If you ever see a place like this, you're probably in danger. You are probably in danger. So keep your head on the swivel. I'm talking about full 360, not full 360 poltergeist all the way around. Keep your head on swivel and keep that thing within arm's reach because you are in danger. Yeah, if I ever go traveling somewhere and I'm just minding my business, walking in the store, and I see that, I'll be like, you know what? Let me go right back to where I came from. I done went a little bit too far exploring. So yeah, shout out to that store right there. I am good. I am not going there ever in my life. But if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. Alrighty, let's keep on rocking. Now, this guy says that it is. Hold on. I'm gonna make sure I got it right. This guy says it's not Democrats who are the ones violent, tear things up, doing a so-called protest. It's actually the MAGAs. Can you believe that? Let's watch.
Protest. Where does that protest go? It gets bigger, it gets bigger, it gets bigger until what do you have?
Bigger protest.
A bigger protest and revolution.
You already have people
right?
blowing up
so,
Teslas.
Yeah, there's a lot of violence going on from Democrats.
For somebody who
a lot of violence going on from
Tesla,
Democrats right now.
Scary out there.
No, it's not Democrats. You're pretty quick to label that. I don't see. I see
Republicans attacking Teslas.
I wouldn't be surprised. You just can't make statements like that blindly. Sorry. I'm sure there are
Republicans that are anti-Trump and anti-Elon Musk.
I'm sure you can't just make it a statement and therefore it's true. You can't say, well, Teslas are being attacked by Democrats only. There's no fact. There's no truth to that.
I think it's pretty obvious that that's the case right now.
No, I think it's obvious that people are losing their jobs. People are just losing their jobs because you've got some guy by the name of Musk and they're doing Trump's work.
Yeah. Should the federal government should downsize?
Absolutely. We should have a nice, tight audit over where we spend our tax dollars.
Isn't that happening right now?
No, it's not.
It's not.
All right, so shout out to James Klug, the Triple OG. Great channel. Y'all please subscribe to James Klug. Good guy over on the YouTubes. But this guy right here, really, bro? Hey, man, Trump derangement syndrome is crazy. I don't know, man. I think there needs to be a vaccine for TDS. Hey, man, the vaccine for TDS is no TV for 6 to 10 months. That'd be the vaccine for TDS. That'd be my diagnosis. If this guy with his shirt was sitting on my couch and say, hey, man, I got sleepless nights. I'm sweating in my bed every day. I'm worried about Trump. I'd be like, look, here's my diagnosis. You have Trump derangement syndrome with a little bit of Elon derangement syndrome. Okay, you got a little bit of touch of that in your chart as well. I'm reading your chart right now. It says TDS with a little hint, a little splat of EDS. So what I want you to do is get some rest, get some water. Coconut water can help you. But turn the TV off for 6 to 10 months and report back. I think you'll be doing a lot better. And you know what else? How about no more Mountain Dew, no more sugary snacks, no more of them big back, bad diet, welfare diet snacks as well, because you got a little bit of, you know what I mean? You're about for the 6 months. You about in the second trimester right now. But anyway, shout out to him. And shout out to James Klug for the video. There's a lot more. We got a lot more to get to. All righty. Where we going to go next? Now, look. Shout out to the girl cops that can do their job very well. There's a lot of you guys out there. You do your job very well. Hey, shout out to you. Some girl cops and guy cops are not really fit for the job. Literally. Let's watch.
She's hard. I don't know why they're chasing me. She's hard.
Okay, now look. She's trying to run, but she's having a hard time. I don't know. Maybe we got a cop shortage. You couldn't really find a lot of people that want to do the job. I get it. I understand. Because cops, it's a hard job often. You're not getting paid a lot. You got guys like this jogging. You got to catch them. I understand. A lot of dope fiends out here acting the fool. I get it. But I need you to do a teeny bit of cardio. A few big back snacks less every day and a teeny bit of cardio, because my man was doing a light jog and getting away pretty easy. Like, if he wanted to run for real, he could just run and it wouldn't be no problem. He's just kind of toying with her. So, yeah, I need you to do a little bit of cardio if you're going to be out here trying to chase guys down, because what you're doing right there is not really working. But shout out to the cops who are in shape, male and female. I see y'all guys out there. I see y'all CrossFitting. I see y'all working out. Shout out to you guys. You guys are doing it the 100% correct way. Now, going back to the whole Tesla thing, not really, but a little bit. Now, this is funny. I think I showed a picture of one of these Teslas before, how that kind of had it disguised a little bit. But this guy's on the road. And you know what? I'm willing to bet that a lot of these leftists are so silly that they would believe this is not really a Tesla when they see it because of the badging and branding. Check it out. So there we go. You see the Tesla, the Cybertruck with a Toyota on the back. And again, I'm willing to bet that a lot of people out there would think, oh, that's a Tundra, that's a Tacoma, or something else, because they don't know anything. One thing I've noticed over the past few years is that people in this country, not all, but there's a portion of people who have become a lot dumber. Idiocracy. If you've not seen the movie Idiocracy, please watch it. It is a documentary. That's what it is. People are like that for real. They will see that Cybertruck and see the Toyota on the back and be like, oh, it's not really a Tesla. So if you have a Tesla and you're around some of these mouth breathers and you don't want it to get keyed up, try doing that. They might throw them off. That just might throw them off. It's like putting cheese in the rat trap. The rat can't help it. Now, deportations are happening, which is a good thing. People are worried, oh, why are you doing deportations? It's so inhumane. The main people who they're going after are the criminals, some who are not criminals. But I think the main thing is to do things right, be here legally. Do things right, be here legally. I don't commit crime. Therefore, I don't get locked up. I don't have any kind of penalty happen to me because I abide by the law. Now, if I break the law, then I get punished. Why should anybody be any different? Let's watch. Let's watch.
Just letting everyone know that there's deportations going on in San Francisco. 4 of my students got deported yesterday. One of them for a parking ticket. The other one for getting on the bus and not paying. And the other 2, we don't even know. Nothing.
So the parking ticket, maybe you might have a point about them not getting approached by police over that. Maybe you have a point about that, but still they're here illegally. So that was the first strike. But you're going to get on the bus and then buck on the fee?
But they were all docked for criminal activity, potential criminal activity. And there's nothing we can do. My job is to help these students. There's nothing I can do except tell them, get a lawyer. With what money? Just letting.
Hey, you know what? When a U.S. citizen commits a crime and then they say, hey, get a lawyer, does anybody really care about where they get the money from? You get a public defender, but man, you might as well go get locked up if you got one of them. Not all the time, but sometimes. So, I mean, I don't have sympathy. It's really weird how people are trying to make us feel sympathetic for the illegal aliens when we don't get that same sympathy. When we commit crime, we get punished as Americans. Why would anybody be any different if you're over here? We have laws we got to follow. When we don't follow them, we get punished. Same thing for the illegal aliens. It's really weird. And if that's going to be their platform to try and defend the illegal aliens, I just don't really get it. I don't really get it. All right. Now, we got more here. Where I want to go next? Where do I want to go? Here's a good one. This is from Erin Wynn. Hopefully I say her name right. Talking about girl bosses in the corporate workspace. Are they going to be your friends? Are they going to be there to help you? Or will the men help you more than the women? Let's watch.
It's a secret that everyone knows, but no one's allowed to talk about. Working for a female boss sucks, especially if you're a girl. Everyone always talks about the patriarchy keeping them down. Smash the patriarchy. The patriarchy is the only thing that has ever promoted me. Ask any girl when you're just having a casual conversation and she's not being a feminazi if she would rather work for a male or a female. And she will tell you. And why? Because women are jealous. Women are moody. Women are insecure. And for some reason, they take all of that out on the women working for them. Because women are mean to each other. We are our own worst enemies. And maybe, just maybe, it's because women aren't meant to spend their childbearing years in a corporate workplace. But we're not allowed to say that. You can't sit with us! There's a secret.
All right, so shout out to Erin. I mean, that was right on point. Right on point. And it kind of flies in the face of this whole feminism thing. Okay, we got to have girl power, girl boss, all this, that, and the third. We hate the smash the patriarchy. They say those things, but in reality, the patriarchy is best for all of us, for men and women. It's the best. And it's not a thing that's oppressive. It's a thing that makes the most sense. You're going to get society functioning properly with the patriarchy. So yeah, shout out to her. That's right on point. It's a great argument, ain't it? Fantastic argument. Shout out to you, Steve. All right. Rather work for a man, talking about Tabasco. Women can't be catty. And you know what? Here's something else. This is part of the reason why Kamala, Hillary Clinton, AOC, who they're going to try to run. This is why these women, part of the reason why they didn't win. They're not going to win. A woman as senator, mayor, something like that, governor, okay. But the president, that's a little rough. That's a little bit rough. And that will be the opinion of men and women, not just a male hating on women thing. Women know women and men know women. And when it comes to being the president, you got to be a certain kind of person. And a lot of them do not trust women to be in that role. I'm not sexist. I'm not nothing. I'm just saying that's just what Americans think. It is what it is. But if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. Now, have you seen some of these mega church people? Hold on. Have you seen some of these mega church people? Now, I'm not really into the mega church scene. I don't know a lot of what happens. But this right here is a compilation of mega church pastors, mega church speakers, whatever you want to call them, riding roller coasters inside the church. Let's watch.
Wow! What a ride! I've never been on a roller coaster like this before.
How fun is that? It's not every Sunday you get to see that.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Come on, somebody make some noise. All campuses. What? Come on, you can do better than that. Earth City, Florida, Weldon, online. Come on, everybody, give it up for Jesus today. It's a great
Man, that was amazing. What's that? Woohoo! Yeah.
That's quite enough. That is quite enough. Can anyone please explain to me the purpose of this church roller coasters? What are we even doing? Like, where you just kind of going around the stage? Like, I don't understand. I don't get it. My grandma's church would never. Listen, my grandma's church would never. See, look, let me come back so you can see me clearly. Back in my day, the church, it was an old man in a Men's Warehouse suit at best. It might have been Montgomery Ward, Sears, something like that. A gray suit with a black pair of shoes and a black belt every Sunday. Preaching, sweating, all of that. That was his thing. Now we got church roller coasters. This ain't my grandma's church. I like my grandma's church. I like that type of vibe. This right here, I can't do nothing with it. But hey, if you like it, I love it. Hey, if you like it, I love it. Just not for me. And I digress. Shout out to y'all. Hey, have you guys been on a church roller coaster before? Is that your thing? Now, I done been in Busch Gardens. I done been to King's Dominion, Six Flags, all that kind of stuff. Carnivals. Yeah, I do all that. Get on a little UFO ride at the carnival. Go to Busch Gardens, go on the Big Bad Wolf, Loch Ness Monster, Avalanche, Battering Ram, all of that. Go to King's Dominion, get on all their crazy rides. But in church, I don't understand. But yeah, shout out to them. Anyway, speaking about things that don't make sense, let's get to the whole El Salvador situation, okay? So they're trying to bring back this guy, Kilmar Albrego. Now, here's the story, if you guys don't know or you want a refresher. Now, this guy had been in the U.S. for a long time. I read it might have been 2011 when he came here. But in 2019, at least, they were trying to deport him. And he did not want to get deported, although there were attempts at doing it throughout time from 2019 to right now. Now, in 2024, a judge, a young lady, said that we should not deport this guy because he could face retribution from gangs in El Salvador, where he's from. Now, why would this law-abiding citizen face retribution from gangs? Was he a good kid, never did anything? Was he a snitch or something like this? If he was a good kid and didn't do anything, why was he on the radar to be deported? Why he been arrested over here doing gang activities? Why was he listed as a gang member in testimony and sworn testimony? Why was he called and listed and considered to be a gang member? Why was he deported? They're trying to say, oh, he was mistakenly sent to El Salvador, when in reality, it was just a clerical error. The clerical error as far as clearing that judge's order, but this is the right guy. It is not the wrong guy. He is not the wrong guy. He is the right guy. They wanted to deport him. He is not a U.S. citizen. He is a citizen of El Salvador, and he is where he should be. But for some reason, the left want him back. Let's watch some of this. This is going to be a little bit of when the president of El Salvador, Nayib Bukele, was in the White House, and there were some questions being asked of him and the team, Trump's team behind him. Check it out.
Well, I'm supposed to not suggesting that I'll smuggle a terrorist into the United States, right? How can I smuggle? How can I return him to the United States? Like, I smuggle him into the United States, or what do I do? Of course, I'm not going to do it. It's like, I mean, the question is preposterous. How can I smuggle a terrorist into the United States? I don't have the power to return him to the United States.
You could release him inside El Salvador.
Yeah, but I'm not releasing I mean, we're not very fond of releasing terrorists into our country. I mean, we just turned the murder capital of the world into the safest country of the Western Hemisphere, and you want us to go back into the releasing criminals so we can go back to being the murder capital of the world? No, that's not going to happen.
Well, they'd love to have a criminal, released into our
I mean, there's a fascination.
They would love it.
They're
sick. These are sick people.
And what he's saying right there, it just makes sense. It makes common sense. And I like when people speak in the way that makes sense. Look, we turned our country around. We went from the most dangerous in the Western Hemisphere to the safest because of what we're doing with the criminals. Why would we go the other direction? For what? What reason would we do that? It makes no sense. He's doing the best thing for his people in El Salvador as a president of El Salvador. That's what you should do. And that's why we love Trump. A lot of the politicians that are here don't do things for the citizenry. They do things for external people, external forces. We don't like that. And we're showing it time and time again when we go to the polls. We don't like that policy. Change it or we're going to vote you out. It's very simple. So again, shout out to the president of El Salvador, Nayib Bukele. Hopefully I pronounced his name correctly, but let's keep on going. Here he is again, speaking about what I was saying in a little bit, a little bit deeper. Let's go ahead and get to it here. I could play this one.
But what about the human right of a woman not to be raped? I mean, what about the human right of kids to play or to be free or to go to the park? And what about the human right to live? Or the human right to walk in the street, right? But no, they were worried about the human rights of the killers. But what about the human?
Exactly. Human rights. We got people here that are being terrorized, victimized by these criminals all day, all night. What about their rights? Why worry about the rights, so-called rights of the criminals terrorizing people? Listen, you're known to be a gang member. You're known to hurt people, delete people, or whatever. What rights do you have? Even in the USA, once you get locked up, your rights go away. Your rights change. You have some rights, but not really. Slavery was outlawed, and that was a big thing, except for if you go to the penitentiary. It says it right there, 13th Amendment. Slavery has been abolished except for the commission of a crime. Once you go to the penitentiary, you can make big rocks to little rocks, for real. They might pay you 5 cents a day. So we have that here in our country as well. We can't act all high and mighty like we're so much better than China, El Salvador, etc. Well, China, that's a different story. That's a whole different story. They got straight up camps like of slaves in different story. But we can't act all high and mighty because we understand that criminals are a scourge upon society and their rights are different than those of regular everyday people. Very simple. And how about this? If you're a criminal over here and you get sent to the penitentiary, you get a felony, you had the right to bear arms before you went in there, and now you don't. So yeah, I don't really understand the whole thing. All right, so let's go to CNN talking about what's happening with the whole Kilmar, Abrego, El Salvador kerfuffle.
President Trump and President Bukele made it clear that Abrego Garcia will not be returned to the United States, despite this U.S. Supreme Court ruling saying that Trump had to facilitate his return. So are they just ignoring a U.S. Supreme Court ruling, or is the fact that the ruling was so mushy, in your words, giving him an opening?
It's a technical term I learned in law school, Jake. Mushy, look, they're working within the ambiguity that the Supreme Court justices gave them. They did not order the administration to return him to the United States. They said that they need to facilitate this return. They could have said, we order him returned, but they didn't do that. So you heard the Attorney General. She was being very careful in the Oval Office when she was asked, would you help? She says, of course we'd provide a plane, right? Thereby facilitating whatever El Salvador is doing. The Supreme Court appeared to defer to the executive branch, given that this is an international matter. And you see, yes, it does look a little bit like a semantic game, but they are playing within the bounds of what the Supreme Court ruled. So no, they are not defying this order.
And take a listen to how White House Deputy Chief of Staff Stephen Miller.
Now, I'll pause it right there. But what she said is right on point, because the main thing is they must facilitate. That does not mean you got to go over there, do a jailbreak, get him back on the Black Hawk helicopter. That does not mean that. What it means is if you're able to do it, if you're able to go to the president of El Salvador and ask, hey, can you let that guy out? All that means is you got to pay for the plane. You got to pay for whatever they need to get him from point A to point B to point C. That's all you got to do. It does not say you have to go down there and take him. Some kind of military raid, busting in prison. That's not what that means at all. And some are going to say, oh, that's semantics. Well, you're talking about law. That's all law is. When you're looking at the way laws are written, you can't even really understand what it means. It's not written in regular English. It's written in a legal language. And the reason why it's written like that is because you have to be very specific, very direct, very exact with law. Because if the law is to be enforced on people, you can lose your freedom, you can lose your life, you can lose all of that if the law is not followed or enforced appropriately or correctly or exactly. So yeah, it's not about semantics, it's about following the law, period. But yeah, shout out to Kilmar Garcia. You are where you need to be, bro. You are where you need to be. Simple as that. Now, Cory Booker. Remember Cory Booker, the guy who they try to tell us was dating Rosario Dawson? Hold on. This guy was saying, hey, I'm going to go down there to El Salvador and I'm going to get him. I was like, really, Cory? You're going to get him? How are you going to do that? Huh? Let's watch.
Do you think the Trump administration is defying a court order?
It certainly appears that they are, and they're trying to play too cute with parsing words. The court has ordered the return of this person and that the Trump administration should do it. They're paying an authoritarian leader in El Salvador to hold people in the worst imaginable types of prisons that he has sent there without any due process. And this isn't just about Mr. Garcia. This is about every American understanding that this president is making an assault on the due process rights that are afforded to people in our country. Everybody from Anton Scalia to other conservative think tanks have said very clearly, you cannot disappear people off American streets. We are a nation of rules, and due process is clearly one of them. And to erode the due process rights of anyone is a threat to the due process rights of everyone.
Let's pause for a minute. Now, due process. Okay, so what, like laws, due process? Is that what y'all did when y'all opened the border up? Is that what y'all did when y'all let 20 million illegal aliens into the country? Is that what y'all did when y'all did that? I mean, come on, man. Like, I'm not miss me with the morality.
This is a democratic slippage, and we all should be speaking out against it.
All right. So I don't think he was saying that he wanted to go down there and get him, but somebody else did. This guy right here. This guy is Senator Chris Van Hollen, a Democrat, of course. This guy went down to El Salvador and was trying to retrieve Kilmar Garcia. He was trying to get Nayib Bukele to talk to him right in the middle of the square, like he can just make that happen without making any kind of prior arrangements or nothing like that. Yeah, I'm going to just go down there and make it happen. All right, let's see how that worked out. Let's play this video. Then we're going to see him at a press conference in El Salvador talking about what happened.
I just landed at the airport in San Salvador a little while ago. I'm now en route into the city, looking forward to meeting with the team from the American Embassy. And I do want to thank our Foreign Service officers and the whole team at this embassy and embassies around the world for all the good work they do on behalf of our country. I'm proud to co-chair the bipartisan Foreign Service Caucus that stands up for the men and women who are serving our country overseas and at home in the State Department. After that, I hope to meet with some high-level government officials from El Salvador.
I hope to meet.
As I've said before, the goal of my visit is to talk to people here about the release of Kilmar Abrego Garcia. I told his wife and his family I would do everything possible to bring him home, and we're going to keep working at this until we're successful. I also hope to have the chance to meet with him, but we'll have a better idea if that works out a little later on.
Okie dokie. So again, that is, what's his name again? This is Senator Chris Van Hollen, a Democrat, of course. Now, speaking about the wife, I got a little something here that I think is pretty important to show. Okay, just a little something here is pretty important to show. Let me go ahead and put it on the screen, the bigger screen here. There we go. Wife of deported Maryland man, quote unquote, reveals horrors she experienced at his hands and scathing police report. So the wife of deported Salvadorian migrant Kilmar Abrego Garcia accused her husband of violently beating her multiple times in a 2021 court filing exclusively obtained by dailymail.com. All righty. So you're beating your wife. You're a gang member. You're not here legally. What are we trying to get this guy for? I mean, we could get other guys from foreign countries. Why can't we get another Elon Musk or something? Another Steve Jobs. You're going to get this dude for real? Him? I don't understand. Make it make sense. Please help me out. I don't get it. Now, again, that was Chris Van Hollen, pardon me. Now, here he is, Chris Van Hollen in El Salvador at a press conference begging to get Nayib Bukele or somebody to come out and talk to him about this guy, Kilmar Garcia, the wonderful, upstanding church boy, choir boy, Kilmar Garcia. Let's watch.
So I asked the vice president if I could meet with Mr. Abrego Garcia. And he said, well, you need to make earlier provisions to go visit CCOT. I said, I'm not interested at this moment in taking a tour of CCOT. I just want to meet with Mr. Abrego Garcia. He said he was not able to make that happen.
So you're trying to meet with the guy who's in prison, but you don't want to go take a tour of the prison. So how are you going to meet him? What, you want him just to come outside and be like, yo, what's going on, man? What's going on, Chris? I'm in here chilling, but the food ain't really all that. These dudes stink. They're kind of crazy. Is that what you wanted? You thought you were going to do that?
I asked, he said he need a little more time. I asked him if I came back next week, whether I'd be able to see Mr. Abrego Garcia. He said he couldn't promise that either. So I asked him if I could get on the phone.
He got nowhere, basically. He got nowhere trying to meet this prisoner, meet this guy who is not a very upstanding citizen. My thing is, why would you just go down there without making any kind of prior arrangements? You think you're just going to do that? It's going to open the prisoner up to you? Like, yeah, I'm Mr. White Man from the United States. Let me just come into your prison and see the prisoner. Like, is that how that works? Is that how that works? Come on, man. Like, let's be serious. You have to respect sovereign countries. It doesn't matter where you are. Because you think you could just, what if a senator from El Salvador went to the White House talking about, yeah, can I see X, Y, and Z prisoner in the penitentiary? Can he stop making big rocks to little rocks and come out and talk to me? You just be like, yeah, come on, let's go. Nah, go through the proper channels and make that happen. You can't just show up like this. It's really embarrassing for the United States, and it's insulting to Salvadorans for you to believe you could just do that and have it happen. Nah, like this is their country. They could do what they want to do. You might not like it, but that's not how it works. It's not how it works. So yeah, shout out Cory Booker. Shout out to Chris Van Hollen. Let's try doing things the right way. Now, this is going to be something you need to watch. So, Chris Van Hollen, I believe, is from Maryland, right? Let me just make sure I'm saying the right thing. He is from Maryland. Yes, he's from Maryland. That's where he represents. Now, this woman here, Rachel Morin's mother, Rachel Morin is a young lady, unfortunately, who was killed by an illegal alien. Let me make sure I'm saying the right thing so I don't get it wrong. So Rachel Morin, let me see. Victor Martinez Hernandez found guilty. So Rachel Morin was unfortunately taken away from us in 2023 while on a jog. And the guy, Victor Martinez Hernandez, where is he from? Let me see if I can find it. I'm not quite sure. If you guys know where that guy's from, y'all let me know. But let's get to what her mother said. And again, the senator's from Maryland.
It's like to carry a baby in your womb, or to feel those first kicks, or to know just intuitively if it's a boy or a girl. It's only a thing that a mother knows. Why are we not protecting the American citizens? It's just common sense. Why are we not protecting our children? And to have a senator from Maryland who didn't even acknowledge or barely acknowledged my daughter and the brutal death that she endured, leaving her 5 children without a mother and now a grandbaby without a grandmother, so that he can use my taxpayer money to fly to El Salvador to bring back someone that's not even an American citizen. Why does that person have more right than I do, or my daughter, or my grandchildren? I don't understand this. Thank you.
I mean, heartbreaking. Rest in peace to Rachel Morin. Prayers out to the family. Prayers out. This is really crazy. And the optics of it, look, you are a Maryland sitting U.S. senator. You go to D.C. Your focus is going to El Salvador to retrieve a gang member who is not even an American citizen, who is a citizen of El Salvador. You're trying to go to the prison and talk to this guy. Talk to this mom. Talk to the mom who lost her daughter at the hands of an illegal alien. The same kind of illegal alien you want to retrieve from a prison took her daughter's life. So what are we doing? I don't get it. These people is what I'm talking about. They hate us. They don't represent us. This is why we vote another way. We go a different direction, and they can't figure out why. Oh, why do they want to vote for Trump? Why do they love conservatives? Because look at how y'all act. Look at what y'all do. You guys don't serve the interests of your constituents, obviously. Obviously. So again, rest in peace, Rachel Morin. Prayers out to Patty, her mother, and her family, and their children. May she rest in peace. Prayers out to them. Really, really sad, really crazy. But hey, again, this is why we just not really feeling all this kind of stuff. And here's something else about the guy that was deported from, or he was taken into ICE custody from Colombia. What's his name? Mahmoud. Y'all know what I'm talking about. The guy who was robber rousing at Colombia. How you going to come over here as a guest and start stuff? Go to China as a guest and start acting the fool. You got streamers out there that are just being annoying, being a nuisance, and they getting beat up, put in the penitentiary, all of that. Just for being a nuisance, making weird noises and stuff like this. But you want to engage in like civil unrest, political stuff as a guest from a foreign country. I'm going to go ahead and take that green card from you. Hey, here go the green card. I'm going to take that from you. And I'm going to give you a nice little plane ticket right back to the house. Hey, you want a first class plane ticket? Sure, I'll go ahead and spring for it. Sure. But what you're going to do is go back over there. It's going to be a one-way ticket. Okay, it's going to be a one-way ticket. Hey, did you pay any money? You know what? I got a theory. I don't know how it works with green cards, how much it costs. But if we did like a little security deposit, hey, like you moving into a house, like you're renting an apartment or something like that. Okay, give me a security deposit. If you mess the house up, if you mess the apartment up while you are living there, we're going to keep a deposit. You want to act a fool, carry on, and get deported, we're keeping your security deposit. That's what we're going to do. So yeah, let's watch this. This is a good point from Piers Morgan about the whole Mahmoud Columbia University protester who wound up getting deported.
I'm okay with that.
All right, what if I was a young student at Columbia, they're on a green card, British, come in, happy to be here, do all my paperwork, get to Columbia, and I start leading a group which is a bunch of white supremacists, and we start terrorizing black students in the way that they were terrorizing Jewish students. Well, hang on. In that circumstance, would we all be as comfortable with this, or is it the reality which was exposed by the mobs at Columbia, which is that for some reason Jews get treated differently to anybody else when it comes to this kind of thing? Because if that had been, honestly, white supremacists treating black students like that, they would be out the country in 10 minutes. In 10 minutes.
Now, I dare anybody to argue against what Piers Morgan said. I dare anybody to argue against it. Anybody. And then if that was not the case, if they were not deported immediately, now you got a problem, or you got a big problem. You're going to have civil unrest. Oh, yeah, big civil unrest. So they don't want that. So they would deport them immediately. I mean, look at what's going on right here in the USA with alleged white supremacists. That's what they said J6 was about. That's why they had the lives turned upside down. So you think they're going to let foreigners do that on U.S. soil without deporting them? Please be serious. Be serious. It would not happen. So, yeah, I don't support any group of people or anybody, period, regardless of whether they're Jewish, whether they're white, black, Puerto Rican, Canyon stripe. I don't support any group being terrorized by anybody. Okay, I'm all about self-defense. Leave me alone. Don't start none, won't be none. And if you're here illegally or as a guest legally, you gotta go. If you're here illegally, you gotta go anyway. But if you're here as a guest legally, we're gonna revoke that privilege from you if you commit a crime and acting up. We don't like that too much. All right, let's keep on rocking and rolling. If you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. Now, let's get to the whole Transformer thing and high school sports in Maine. Let's get to that. That's pretty important. We have Linda McMahon. Shout out to her. She's talking about what's happening as Secretary of Education, because this is going to impact education. The issue in Maine is really boys and girls high school sports. So there's a lot. You got Title IX. You got all kind of stuff going on. If we're going to allow boys and girls sports, then there is no more girls sports. Girls sports exist for a reason. It's their space to be able to compete among each other on a level playing field. Having boys in the mix ruins everything. The competitiveness, the privacy that girls have, it ruins the entire thing. And like I said before, if you're going to have boys and girls sports, what you're going to have is the more alpha male, actual competitive athletes and the lesser males. It won't be any more male and female. It'll be alpha dog, more athletic, and then lesser. That's all it would be. And it's unfair to women. But let's watch.
Madam Secretary, I do want to put up Title IX because it seems like that's the foundation of your argument here. Just as a reminder for anyone, I know my own mother was a massive beneficiary of Title IX. I'm lucky to be young enough that had been settled by the time I went to school.
Let's read the caption. It says, no person in the United States shall, on the basis of sex, be excluded from participation in, be denied the benefits of, or be subjected to discrimination under any education program or activity receiving federal financial assistance. Now, I think what's happening right here is that this law is being interpreted in a way that's not right by those in Maine and other places where you have boys and girls sports. Back in 1972, I don't believe it was a thing called transgender, maybe transvestite, something like that, cross-dresser. But I don't think it was a thing to have boys pretending to be girls in high school. The spirit of this amendment, Title IX, the spirit of this is to allow girls to be able to have their own league, their own ability to compete with each other in sports, to not have boys. That's it.
Well, it says no person in the United States shall, on the basis of sex, be excluded from participation in, be denied the benefits of, or be subjected to discrimination under any education program or activity receiving federal financial assistance. So can you explain why you think transgender athletes amounts to sex discrimination under this title?
I think there are two sexes. There's male and female. And so transgender doesn't have a play in this. You're born a boy, you're a boy. You're born a girl, you're a girl. And even with puberty blocking hormones, etc., males are still stronger. Their structure is different. They can perform very differently in competition. And we have to respect and understand that and give women the rights that they have under this Title IX.
There you go. So again, shout out to Linda McMahon for just dropping some basic common sense on CNN. Basic common sense. Now here we have our brand new Attorney General Pam Bondi, a great Attorney General, destroying Maine over the idea of boys and girls sports.
Beat girls in girls sports. Well, if one young woman is in jeopardy, one, that's enough for us to be standing up here. One, no boy will be undressing in a girl's locker room. No boy will be walking in a woman's restroom. And no boy, when we're finished with this, will be beating young girls in sports. These young women many of them have trained, since you were in elementary school for your sport? Riley, when did you start swimming? 4 years old. They have trained their entire lives. Some of them have lost scholarships. They have lost regionals. They have lost state because of boys. I don't care if it's one. I don't care if it's two. I don't care if it's 100. It's going to stop, and it's going to stop in every single state. Tesla.
There we go. So shout out again to Attorney General Pam Bondi, right on point. Shout out to Riley Gaines as well. Yeah, this whole thing, man, I don't even know how it happened. It happened so quick. It was like overnight. Women competed against women, men against men, and then all of a sudden one day you're seeing Riley Gaines, all of 5'0", right next to this big giant looking like Peyton Manning when he was first year on the Indianapolis Colts. Okay, looking like Peyton, Eli, Arch, all of them. The Pawpaw, all the Mannings. Looking like Ryan Reynolds, Deadpool, big hands, football playing hands. How is this fair? Because he got some curly hair and he changed his name from William to Leah. It makes him a woman. Please stop the nonsense. I never in all my days thought that I would see this happening, what's happening right now. So I'm glad that Pam Bondi and everybody, Riley Gaines, I'm glad that everybody is trying to defeat this. It needs to stop. It needs to be done. So yeah, shout out to all the girls that still want to participate in sports. Okay, now this is going to be Corvallis, Oregon. Okay, Corvallis, Oregon, they want their place to be. Actually, you know what? I'm going to just let this fine young lady explain what they want. All righty, let's watch.
I move to approve a resolution declaring the
RP to the headphone users. Let me start from the top.
I move to approve a resolution declaring the city of Corvallis a trans, intersex, and gender diverse sanctuary city. Second.
My youngest child is non-binary, and we heard a lot tonight about some of the fear and ridiculous actions being taken at the federal level and in other states across this country, and they're scared. So when this was first proposed to me, I first heard about this, I was like, yeah, let's do this. I think for me, it's an obvious next step in the city. We've always taken our sanctuary status seriously. At the last meeting, I reiterated that we're a sanctuary city that resides in a sanctuary state, and I will always support that. So I don't think we need to do a roll call vote on this. So let's just go ahead and vote. All in favor of the resolution as amended, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed, say no. Thank you. That passes unanimously.
Okay, this is again Corvallis, Oregon. Now let me see exactly what they said here. Let me just zoom in a little bit for you guys. Okay, so they voted. The city council voted unanimously to pass resolution declaring the city as a trans, intersex, and gender diverse sanctuary city. Now you heard that man talking about his youngest is non-binary. How old is your child, first of all? Second of all, what does it even mean to be non-binary? What does that really mean? what's the actual reality of that? To me, your son or your daughter, whatever you actually were born, your son or daughter is confused, and you, fine sir, are leading the confusion. And I don't know what is on your computer, but you know what? I don't want to know. I don't want to know what's on that laptop. I promise I don't. Okay, anyway, now let's go to UK. It says UK Supreme Court rules transgender women does not fit legal term woman in landmark decision. Imagine that. Imagine saying that, hey, you know what? Just because you say you are transgender does not mean you're actually that gender you identify as. Imagine that being a landmark decision. Let's watch.
The unanimous decision of this court is that the terms woman and sex in the Equality Act 2010 refer to a biological woman and biological sex. But we counsel against reading this judgment as a triumph of one or more groups in our society at the expense of another. It is not.
The court will now adjourn.
I don't understand. It's like, why is that such a groundbreaking thing to say? Why is that groundbreaking? That should be common sense. If you're born a girl, you're a girl. And then when you get to be an adult, you're a woman. If you're born a boy, you're a boy. You get to be an adult, you're a man. This is basic stuff. I'm talking about when you're still crawling around in diapers, goo goo gaga stage, you learn that. You learn the basics of humanity at a very young age. Now we got guys, I got gray hair, he got gray hair, talking about, okay, now we got to tell everybody what we learned 1,000 years ago, back in our childhood. I was like, what are we going to do next? Say, hey, you know what? You count to 10 like this, use all your fingers and your toes. What are we doing? We have devolved in many different ways. Not us watching. We know what's going on. We're not idiots. We're not mouth breathers. We understand that men are different than women. We get it. But some people, they really don't know it. They don't know it. Now, let's keep on rocking and rolling. If you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. Now, so this is an interview on BBC over there in UK. This interview is about this woman right here. Hold on. Who is this lady again? A politician, the black woman. She's a politician in UK. And on this show, they're grilling her for not watching a Netflix TV show. Let's watch.
Have you watched Adolescence yet?
No, I haven't. I probably won't. It's a film on Netflix, and most of my time right now is spent visiting the country.
It's a four-part series on Netflix, and everyone is talking about it. It is prompting conversations about toxic masculinity, smartphone use, young men feeling that they're being ignored, the idea of misogyny being increased in school. Why would you not want to know what people are talking about?
Well, I think that those are all important issues, and those were issues that I've been talking about for a long time. But in the same way that I don't need to watch Casualty to know what's going on in the NHS, I don't need to watch a specific Netflix drama to understand what's going on. It's a fictional series. It is not a documentary. What I've been talking about recently, for instance, is banning smartphones in schools. I've been going to schools all around the country. I was in Evesham just yesterday, talking to head teachers, talking to the students, and they talk about the problems that phones are causing.
The difference this documentary has made compared to, say, a politician, any politician, leader of a party, the Prime Minister, going around talking in schools, is this has made much more of an impact than any politician has in terms of what people are talking about right now. So it's really,
I mean, why is that even a thing? Listen, I'll give you a recommendation for a TV show. I always tell y'all, watch Idiocracy. Hey, watch that. It's crazy. It's what's happening right now. People are so dumb. I'll tell you to watch it, but I'm not going to be grilling you like, hey, why haven't you watched it? Everybody's talking about it. Oh, well, you know, I know you're busy being a politician and doing your job. I know you got stuff to do, but why not watch this TV show? It's like, it's fiction. It's not real. It's not that serious. Like, why must I watch that? Why must I watch that?
really confusing that you don't want to know why, how this has made an impact, how parents are now saying we need to know more about smartphone use.
I can read what people are saying about it. I look at research. This is something that I've been looking at for a long time.
You wouldn't want to know straight from the horse's mouth.
One of the things that I'm more bothered by is the fact that just yesterday we had Labour telling us that they're not going to be investigating the rape gang scandal, something which had happened all across the country. That's real. That's happening right now. We're not talking about that. We're talking about a fictional documentary.
Do you think? Boom, boom. BBC, UK, like, what are y'all even doing? We talking about fiction? We talking about practice? We talking about a fictional TV show on Netflix compared to real life. Okay, them gangs, them R-word gangs roaming the country. Let's talk about that. You want to talk about TV shows? I mean, is this like where am I? Is this a podcast? Like, where am I at right now? But yeah, shout out to her for not relenting. Now, let's get to, speaking about UK, let's get to the whole Joe Rogan thing. Now, do you guys know about Douglas Murray? Douglas Murray and Dave Smith. Like I said, like I told y'all before, I did not know about these guys before the Joe Rogan podcast. So it was my very first impression of both of them. And people are telling me, oh, Douglas Murray, he's so smart, ABL. He has a lot of good things to say. Okay, maybe you're right. But I did not get that impression when I watched the podcast. What I got was someone trying to say why they're too good to debate. And if you're going to show up to a debate, you need to show up in good faith. Have the conversation, have the debate. Don't just say, oh, this guy's beneath me. Why would I debate him at all? Don't do that. Show up in good faith. And if he's so dim-witted, if he's so uneducated, it'd be easy to go ahead and beat him, right? That's what it should be. Now, I've already played the debate between the two of them, or at least a piece of it. I just want to show the reaction. Okay, so Douglas Murray reacted, and I'm not sure what this is. It says unheard. I don't know if that's his show or what. Again, this is not really my kind of content. Some guys and girls may like this stuff, but to me, it's just not really what I'm into. Okay, I don't watch a lot of political stuff on YouTube anyway, so that's why I don't know who these guys are. But I did not like Douglas Murray and his appeal to authority. Let's see what he said in response to the criticism of the actual debate.
I mean, Joe's a friend, and I was trying to be gentle with him about what I regard as being a dangerous tilt that he and some other podcasters are encouraging. What I really maybe should have said then, can now, is that everybody recognizes expertise in the areas they know about. And for instance, if you had gone on Joe Rogan and sought to spend 3 hours talking about MMA fighting,
wouldn't be very convincing.
That's my guess. I mean, it may surprise me, but I would think that quite early on he would work out that you didn't really know what you were talking about. And if you said, "Hey, I never said I'm an MMA expert. I just want to keep talking about it," then at some point they would have to call bullshit you, and they'd get very annoyed. Well, okay, that's the same with lots of other things. I get very annoyed when I hear people who are in no way recognizably historians, in no way recognizably expert in the subjects they talk about, regurgitating false versions of history that I saw debunked already in my lifetime.
Now, this kind of attitude I don't like. I don't like this kind of pompous, arrogant, they've already debunked it. Look, if that's the case, if you think that it's not worth debating the guy, if you don't want to hear those conversations, just say that from the beginning. Just say that. Say what you're saying right now, and then don't go to the debate. What you wanted to do was send a message. You wanted to confront Joe Rogan. You wanted to confront Dave Smith. Do that off the podcast. Why would you show up for a debate and then do something else? Debate and switch? I don't like that. See, bad first impression. So now you might be a smart guy. You might be a guy who has a lot of information, but because you're so off-putting and because you did not arrive in bad faith, now I'm not going to pay you any attention at all because your character is poor. And why would I pay anyone with bad character any attention? If I was not watching you before and I've been getting along just fine, why would I start watching you right now when your first impression and second impression is this? I don't like it. All right, again, that's Douglas Murray. I'm getting ahead of myself. Hold on. I think I missed the other video. I got to get to the Tesla one in a minute. Not Tesla, but I got to get to the little space ride in a minute. But let me show you the reaction from Dave Smith. Some of that reaction, then we're going to get to a few more things. And if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously.
I left there with the feeling, I would say even a half hour in to the show, I think the reaction that we're getting, I've had a lot of debates where the reaction is overwhelmingly that I won the debate. In this particular case, it's just that he lost it. Like, it wasn't even that I beat him in the debate. He started out with a 40-minute struggle session for Joe Rogan that just contained probably the longest stretched logical fallacy I've ever seen anyone open a debate with. Just a naked appeal to authority, completely unclear with what he was saying. He came in, so in this struggle session with Joe Rogan, I couldn't make this up. This is barely before I presented any thought or argument or opinion. I think it was before that. He comes in with this long that is an appeal to authority, an appeal to expertise. You're having these non-experts talk about issues that experts should talk about. And I'm not saying they should be censored, and I'm not saying they shouldn't talk about it, but they're talking about it and they're acting like they're experts. How are they acting like they're experts? Because they're talking about it. And when they're talking about it, it was just the most ridiculous argument, the most pompous, elitist, but essentially telling the host of the show and the entire audience, your opinion doesn't matter. Like, it was just a strategy to me that was like, you want to make everyone think you're a pompous asshole? It was wild. In there, sandwiched in this appeal to expertise, he trashes Daryl Cooper and Ian Carroll, whose names he doesn't even know, and admits that he's never consumed any of their material before. Yet he's trashing them and then claiming that you can only talk about these issues if you have expertise. Then when he's asked, does he have expertise? He goes, well, in some things. Do you talk about things you don't have expertise in? Yeah, all the time I talk about things I don't have expertise in. Okay, well, why can you do that? Oh, you're not even understanding my point. It was just like the most wild thing. And it just became clear as the show went on that Douglas Murray came to do anything but debate me.
And I don't like that, because that was the reason for you to be there, was to debate. Show up in good faith. And like I said, some of y'all say that Douglas Murray, really smart guy. I'm not saying he's not. But if he's so smart and Dave is so unintelligent, uninformed, not an expert, if that's the case, then it should be easy to defeat him. I don't go into a debate with someone that I agree to and refuse to debate. I'm going to debate. And if I think I'm so much smarter, if I'm so much more advanced than that person, it'd be easy. It'd be simple. There'd be a tomato can at best. A tomato can at best. Y'all know how I do my phone lines. When I open them, anybody can call me. I don't screen anything. Let's talk. Let's have a debate. Now, of course, I have more controls. I can mute and all that kind of stuff. But I've been on TV with moderated debates. I done had debates in person with the moderator, without a moderator. If I'm going to show up, I'm going to show up. I'm not going to refuse to debate because I think the person is beneath me. And if I think they're beneath me and I'm at the debate, I'll engage in the debate in good faith, and then everyone will see that I'm better than them. Simple. Exactly. 186. It'd be light work. It'd be light work. Easy work. That's the way it should be, at least in my humble opinion. Now let's get to the whole thing with what's this? Not Tesla. I'm gonna keep saying Tesla because I get these guys confused. Two super genius tech bros. Blue Origin, owned by Jeff Bezos. Let's get to this. So when the hatch, the pod, the little cup came back down from space with Katy Perry, Gayle King, Lauren Sanchez, Jeff Bezos' girlfriend, there was some kind of funny stuff going on. I don't know what's happening here. I saw this video. I don't know exactly what's going on, but let's watch this.
Okay, now I want you to watch the hatch door open from the inside. The lady runs over there real quick, says, no, 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 shuts the door back, tries to stand in front of it.
Now, I don't know about space being fake. I don't know about that part, but what was this? Okay, hold on.
Okay, now I want you to watch the hatch door open from the
What's this? Why is it opening right now?
inside. The lady runs over there real quick, says, no, 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 shuts the door back, tries to stand in front of it.
So I don't know what's going on there. Now, that could have been altered. I don't know what's happening, but it's kind of fishy. Maybe, you just want to do certain things for the camera. That was kind of fishy. Now, I don't know how this became a feminist accomplishment. I don't know how this became that. This was not an all-female crew of astronauts. These were not astronauts. It just went on the ride. Okay, look. If I fly from Atlanta to Las Vegas, I just was on the plane. I did not fly the plane. I went for a ride, went for a trip. I went for a flight. I had a flight from point A to point B. I'm not part of the crew. I'm a passenger like everybody else. Unless I'm in the actual cockpit maneuvering and stuff, flying the plane, then I am a passenger, not part of the crew. Now, some are even more upset. They're upset at the term mankind. They're upset at that. Let's watch.
To help me correct that narrative, so explain to our audience why even a trip like this one, all the trips that we take into space benefit mankind.
So it benefits humankind, and I'm going to keep correcting the mankind and the man-made and the man missions, because this is exactly what this mission is about, is expanding the perspective of who does space. Why is space important? When you just look at it, when you go up, you get a perspective on this world that you can't get from looking down on the ground, and you can get it much faster. So whether it's looking at roads, mapping.
Okay, but you're just a passenger. You're not an astronaut. I mean, you're talking about women doing space. What does that mean? Does that mean the same thing as me getting on the airplane and flying from point A to point B? Is that what that mean when you say do space? Am I doing air when I fly in the airplane? I don't understand. I don't understand how calling something mankind or humankind will make a difference. Now, what I wanted to show you right there was Gayle King talking about, oh, well, you shouldn't say it was a ride. You're kind of downplaying our accomplishment. You should say, I'm not sure. What do you call it if you go up in a space capsule for 11 minutes and come right back down? What is that called? Did you go on a mission? Was there a particular purpose of this ride? What was the reason why you did it?
I don't like that people are calling it a ride. A ride, you never see a male astronaut who's going up in space and they said, oh, he took a ride. We actually duplicated the route that Alan Shepard did. That's why it's called, this particular capsule is called the New Shepard. We duplicated that route. No one said he took that ride. Yeah. It's always referred to as a flight or a journey. So I feel that that's a little disrespectful to what the mission was and what the work that Blue Origin does. We use space technology all the time, whether it's your GPS, whether it's your satellite. That doesn't just happen. Every time a flight goes up, they get some type of information. Two of the astronauts, I still have a hard time calling myself an astronaut, but two of the astronauts, I don't like.
Astronaut? Is that what we're going to say? Now, I know you guys went up into high orbit, space, whatever. I understand that, but to call yourself an astronaut is stretching it. I think you might need a little bit of schooling, a little bit of something to say you're an astronaut. If they let me just be in the cockpit with the pilot, am I a pilot? As a passenger, am I a pilot? It's weird. It's really weird. I think if you're an astronaut, that comes with a certain level of credentials. I think that's what you need. Okay, now Letitia James. Oh, I got to show this. I'm running out of time, but I got to show Letitia James. Okay, now look. Letitia James is being accused of real estate fraud. Oh my goodness. What's happening? Well, to be specific, mortgage fraud. She's being accused, again, accused, not guilty yet, accused of mortgage fraud. All righty, let's watch this.
Representing our respective states, stand up and enforce the rule of law. The president of these United States is not above the law.
No matter how rich, powerful, or politically connected you are, everyone must play by the same rules.
Will you sue him for us?
Oh, we're going to definitely sue him. We're going to be a real pain in the
Okay, so now you're talking about mortgage fraud? Is that what's happening? Ain't nobody above the law? Does that include you, Miss James?
And now the Trump Justice Department may be a pain in her you-know-what. The Angle has obtained shocking allegations leveled by the Trump administration against New York Attorney General Letitia James. The Federal Housing Finance Agency has sent a criminal referral to the DOJ accusing James of mortgage fraud. In a letter to Attorney General Pam Bondi, Director Bill Pulte says James appears to have falsified records in order to meet certain lending requirements and receive favorable loan terms. He cited a property in Virginia that she's allegedly claimed as her principal residence and a property in New York that she claimed as a 4-unit structure instead of the required, instead of a 5, which Pulte says means she was able to get a different type.
Virginia, is that where you live primarily, Letitia James? I thought you were in New York. So in Virginia, that's interesting. See, what goes around comes around, don't it? Allegedly. What goes around comes around, allegedly. We got to get down to the bottom of it. Now, she's responded somewhat. She didn't respond directly, but this video is from yesterday. So she's responding to the goings-ons. Let's watch.
My mission is clear. I'm focused. I'm prepared. I'm ready. I've been trained by the best. I went to Howard University that overturned legal segregation in this country. I've been taught in those classrooms where Thurgood Marshall once taught. I'm not afraid of no president. Donald Trump, we're ready for you. We're coming for you. We're standing up for you. We're fighting on. We're not going down silent. Victory, my friends, is clear. It's now. And I'm not waiting 4 years. I'm waiting 2 until a speaker by the name of Hakeem Jeffries comes to bring us some rest. Come on, ladies. It's up to us. We saved this democracy before. We'll save it now. Let's go.
All righty. That is Letitia James. Okay, there's so much going on. Now look, all of that, you know what? It'd be funny if you say all of that and get locked up to make Bit Rocks a little. That'd be hilarious. How about you address the allegations of mortgage fraud? Address that. All that hooping and hollering ain't gonna make no difference if you are in the penitentiary with your orange jumpsuit. Okay? Like, who cares at the end of the day? So yeah, shout out to her. And if you didn't know, this is the National Action Network she's speaking in front of, and that is Al Sharpton's little outfit in New York. So shout out to him. And if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up, like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. All right, Letitia James. That's going to be, what's her title in New York? Let me just say the right thing. That is Attorney General in New York. Yep, New York Attorney General Letitia James, one of the people that was trying to railroad President Trump over nothing. All right, now I got a little bit more time. I'm gonna play a few more videos here. All right, I have a little bit more time. Oh, this is a good one. about the intel agencies. This is from Kurt Weldon on Tucker Carlson's network. Let me put it up right quick. And we're going to rock and roll. RIP in advance to the headphone users, but let's watch.
There are good people in the agency, but there are scumbags that work in our agencies. And I know them, and they're making money. They're $1 million people, and their $1 million companies are going to be exposed if it's the last thing I do. And you'll see the ties around the world to the $1 million intel people who've made money off the backs of young American kids who have died in wars while they make money. And I'll give you example after example of that. In Russia, in Ukraine, around the world, in Libya. That's what's wrong. And until we understand that, it's not going to stop. There are good people.
Right on, my man. Hey, that right there was fantastic. I like that passion. I like that fire in his belly. And you got to have it, because this is a big part of the reason why many of us, including me especially, this is why many of us voted for President Trump, because he is an anti-war person. So many war hawks, so many warmongers want to send your children and you to go get deleted all over the world. And for what, though? For what? Why? What's the reason? Why do we need to do that? Why can't we focus more on what we got going on stateside rather than sending kids to die in these endless, ridiculous wars that can't be won? Does anybody think that Ukraine's going to win this war? The only reason why they're able to keep going is because they keep getting funded by us and the rest of our European little brothers. That's why. If not for us, the war would have been over. And it really should have been over. Maybe that means Russia takes Ukraine. Listen, do we want Russia to take Ukraine or endless people to die? Endless, a meat grinder. Why do we want that? I don't think we want that. So shout out to my man right here for keeping it all the way real. All the way real, 100%. I like that. I like that fashion. Letitia James crashing out because she's about to get locked up. This man crashing out because he's not wanting to see your grandchildren get deleted in Ukraine for no reason. I like that, 100%. Now, this is going to be Tim Dillon, the comedian, talking about the C-19 vax, saying, hey, you know what? I don't know how effective it is, but I done got the bug a bunch of times after I got vaccinated. And you know what? I've never been vaxxed, no vax. It's been years. I've been everywhere. I've been outside. I've been doing the things. And I'm still here. I'm still standing. Now, if I got that shot, I don't know. I might be a little bit different right now. I might be a teensy bit different right now. So thank God that I'm not. But let's watch.
I think RFK is this interesting guy. He's a Kennedy, but he has this voice. Like he has this thing, and so it makes him this over the top character. And he's a guy that was like a hero of liberals for a long time because he was going at polluters.
Right.
This was RFK's entire thing. Was like going at polluters. And then vaccines became his main thing. But as I understand it, like for the majority of his career, he did a lot of like environmental activism and stuff like that. Yeah. And then this thing about vaccines, whereas I'm no doctor, I'm not a biologist, and I don't really know how effective these things work. I got the COVID vaccine, and then I got COVID like 4 times. Not an ideal product. You know what I mean? Like in the most like generous understanding of it, not an ideal. Like would have loved to get it 2 times after the vaccine, not 4 or whatever it is, 3 or 4. So it's like I feel like a lot of people were just distrustful of that.
Right on. So again, shout out Tim Dillon.
I got COVID.
Now, Tim Dillon, can I say something to you right quick, boss? And I'm not trying to attack you. Okay, I'm not trying to attack you now, but we could lose about a few pounds, just a few, a little bit off the top. If it's a haircut, you go in there and say, "Hey, barber, let me get a dab off the top. Just a little bit of off the top, and you'd be good money." That's number one. And number two, obviously the shot doesn't work. Obviously, it doesn't work. I think we've been able to figure that out. It does not work. First, they said if you get the shot, you won't get the virus. Then they said, well, you'll get the virus, but it'll reduce your hospitalization. Then they said, well, you might get myocarditis and pericarditis. You might get a heart attack and die at age 18 if you're totally healthy. But it's okay because it's only going to affect a small piece of the population. Then they say, oh, you might get long COVID. You might get long-term symptoms, which was obvious from the very beginning because I think we all grew up with those commercials. Were you harmed by mesothelioma, asbestos? Call 1-800-YOU-MIGHT-DIE and get $5 from a class action lawsuit. Again, 1-800-YOU-MIGHT-DIE and get 35 cents in the class action lawsuit. Everybody saw that. We all saw that. So it's like, okay, you got this brand new product. They took, 9 months to develop it, allegedly? We're going to put it out in the market and take that, and it'll cure everything. You'll be totally fine. No more C-19, all of that. And all of this was for a head cold. That's what this was. It was a head cold. Coronavirus. That means head cold. Corona, head, crown, corona. That's what that means. A glorified flu. A glorified flu. That's what this was. So from the beginning, I don't care if it was Donald Trump, Daffy Duck, I don't care who it was. I wasn't going to get the vaccine regardless of what. It could have been Jesus Christ to come down from the sky and say, hey, my son, take the vaccination. I'd be like, all right, boss, do you have any data on what it could do to me in the future? Can I talk to God right quick? Let me talk to the Father. Be like, yo, Dad, is it true what they say about the vaccination? Can you really not get sick after you get it? Yeah, call me back when you're done. That's what I would say. That'd be my actual message to the big man upstairs. I would not just take that and be like, all right, yeah, nah. I don't care who gave it to me, who told me to get it. I just wouldn't do it at all. So yeah, now let's go to AOC right quick before we get to some calls. AOC, in my humble opinion, will run for president in 2028. Mark my words. Mark my words, AOC will run for president, as a Democrat, of course, in 2028. This is her talking about some things. Then we're going to get to her recent appearance in Iowa with Paul Bernie.
Also, you know, the other way I think you can think about it is that we are, you know, perhaps we are in the downfall of the broken way. This was not built to last. Inequity, injustice is not built to last. It lasts a long time. It could last hundreds of years, but ultimately it crumbles into this, you know, a small cohort of incompetent people that create damage. And from that, something new can spring. And so maybe something is declining right now, but maybe it deserves to decline. Also,
a bartender will run for president in 2028, and she will get a lot of votes because you see what's going on here. They're appealing to the they them generation, the strange. Look at these people. Like that's Nicole Hannah-Jones. That's 1619 Project lady. That's her right there. Okay, tragic mulatto. Shout out to the mulattoes though. And then I don't know who that is. Is that Megan Rapinoe? I don't know what's going on with the makeup and stuff like this, but they want to appeal to this crowd, the non-binary, the racially ambiguous, the kind of the they, them. They want to appeal to them. Now, I don't think it will yield success for her in 2028, but she is right now the front runner between her and Gavin. Gavin too busy being the king of California to really worry about trying to become the president, in my humble opinion. But between her and Gavin, that's going to be that might be the ticket. So to be totally, it might be Gavin with AOC as a vice president. That might be their ticket. So please keep an eye out for that. And you heard it here first. You heard it right here first. All right, let's get to her in Iowa. This is Nampa, Iowa. Not Iowa, pardon me. Idaho. Nampa, Idaho. Now I'll tell you what, this is a pretty big, it's a pretty big crowd size. It's bigger than Kamala, much bigger than what Kamala would get. It's not a super packed place, but it's bigger than Kamala's crowd sizes. And Kamala, they had all the money in the world behind her, and she was trying to become the president and had smaller crowd sizes than this. And I don't know if you're going to get Taylor Swift to come out or something like that, but it's a pretty big crowd size. She has the attention of the young people, in my humble opinion. Let's watch some of this. Again, this is Nampa, Idaho.
Donald Trump is a criminal who was found guilty of 34 felony counts of fraud, liable for sexual abuse. Of course he's lying and abusing and manipulating the stock market too. When he talks about rapists and criminals, he should look in the mirror.
All right, so there we go. That is part of her speech out there in Idaho. At the podium, it says, fight oligarchy. All righty. And how about the accents? There were a few accents right there. I'm hearing a little bit of Hillary Clinton. I'm hearing some Ilhan Omar. Some people did something. I'm hearing that. The real high-pitched upspeak. I'm hearing a lot of different people. This is a coached person meant to be a product sold to the American people. The question is, will the American people fall for it or not? We're going to see. We shall see. Brought to you by Soros. Yep, brought to you by all of them. The whole shebang. Again, she is, in my humble opinion, a front runner for 2028. They want to say Kamala is a front runner. Kamala, please. Kamala, although AOC sucks, she's pretty bad when she speaks, she's better than Kamala. And it's not even really close. But if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. Now, speaking about running for president. Speaking about running for president, there's somebody else who is throwing their name in the hat, throwing their name in the ring. Stephen A. Smith. Yes, Stephen A. Smith. He's doing interviews about this on ABC, suit, tie, all of that. They're asking him, hey, are you going to run? Let's watch.
You mentioned Bill Maher. I saw Steve Bannon was on with Bill Maher, and he was asked what Democrats he worries about. And you know the only name he mentioned as a Democrat he'd be worried about. So are you really thinking about running for president? Is this something you think?
Listen, I have no choice because I've had elected officials, and I'm not going to give their names, elected officials coming up to me. I've had folks who are pundits come up to me. I've had folks that got a lot of money, billionaires and others, that have talked to me about exploratory committees and things of that nature. I'm not a politician. I've never had a desire to be a politician. I just signed a contract extension with ESPN. I am very, very
pretty good one, too.
With my day job. I'm very happy with my boss. This is a pretty damn good one. Just right. It's a pretty damn good contract. I couldn't be happier. But here's the reality. People have walked up to me, including my own pastor, for crying out loud, who has said to me, you don't know what God has planned for you. At least show the respect to the people who believe in you, who respect you, who believe that you can make a difference in this country, to leave the door open for any possibilities 2 to 3 years down the line. And that's what I've decided to do. But again, whether it's Westmore, Governor Westmore, who I know, or Governor Josh Shapiro from Pennsylvania, who I know, Andrew Cuomo, who I had the pleasure of interviewing, who's trying to get back in things and be the next mayor of New York, etc. I see a lot of people that obviously and clearly are more qualified than me. But in the same breath, when you think about what Trump is getting away with, when you think about what you brought up about Steve Bannon, who's trying to be slick because he's looking at a non-political individual like myself, looking at me as a populist. But you better be careful what you ask for, because some of the stuff that Trump and the right has been trying to get away with, like circumventing the 22nd Amendment of the Constitution, talking about how there could be a third term. Excuse me, be careful what you wish for, because if any GOP member, if any Republican supports that, I don't want to hear a word out of their mouth ever again about following the Constitution Constitution, the Constitution, the Constitution. That's what they've been living off for years. And then you're talking about circumventing the 22nd Amendment, and you think that's cool? No way. That's not something that we should stand for. So I would hope somebody else would step up that's more qualified than me. But if it has to come down to me, it is something I would consider. Yeah.
So Stephen A. Smith, ESPN, hollering about basketball, stuff like this. Him and Shannon Sharp going back and forth. The president, people came up to him. Hey, man, you want to run? Leave it open. Leave the door open. Would y'all vote for Stephen A. Smith? Would y'all vote for Stephen A? Now, the answer for me is no. H, no. I ain't going to say the whole word, but y'all know what I mean. H, no. I'm not. Stephen, like, what has he done in his life that would tell me he's a leader of a thing? Trump, of course, was a so-called reality star, but not just that. He is a billionaire based on business, based on leading things, based on being able to manage and do things that way, as you got to do as a president. What has Stephen A. Smith done besides be a pundit and speak on certain issues? Okay. You vote for him in the primary. There you go. That's a good idea. Vote for him in the primary. Get him up out of here. Absolutely. So yeah, shout out Stephen A. Smith. The answer is no. I'm not going to vote for you, but I'm not surprised that you're getting a lot of requests from people to run. That's not surprising at all. But if you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. All right, let's get to the calls. The number to call, 434-658-1220. Again, 434-658-1220. And before we get to the calls, I got super chats. Yes, I got super chats on that. Let me read those right quick. Then we get to the calls. Thank you to Gregortron, who said, shout out to my homie Marcus. He loves your show. Shout out Marcus. Thank you to Llewellyn Moss, who says, before Gayle King took a ride in space long ago before Oprah, they used to call her, I ain't gonna read that one now. That's a little bit too spicy, a little bit too saucy for me to read. But thank you for your super chat. Thank you to Mean Saltine, who says, I love you, Pookie Bear. I didn't have a question. I just wanted to hear you say that. People are kind of weird. Shout out to Monique Price. Shout out to Monique, who says, why don't you come out with your own polos? It's signature and it'll probably sell well. I think I need to, but I want them to be the quality I want. Like I at one point I was going to do some dropship stuff, but if I can get some good manufactured stuff, I do it for sure. Because it's got to be the good quality. I don't want to just sell your polos with a logo on it. I want it to be good stuff that I would wear. But that's a good point. That's a good assertion. That's a good observation. Thank you to Monique again, who says, give me the old school churches that play Bach. Yeah, right on. Thank you to Kaish Parchments, who says, ABL, what do you think of Carmelo buying a house? That's false. That's fake. That's a rumor. They already had a house. Let me tell you what happened with that. So they have a house that they've been renting since 2022 in Frisco for like $3,200 or something like that. They've been there for 3 years. What someone did on the internet was look up. They doxed them. Then they saw what the property is or where it is. They looked it up on Zillow and they saw the value. So they thought, oh, well, you must have just bought that house because you can afford it without the money. Meanwhile, they've been there for 3 years. 3 years they've been there renting that house. So that was a rumor. Thank you to Kaya's Posthumous again, who says 600 missing and 1 mil, yet cartel still exists. Why? Good question. Thank you to Tony Hay Munkits, who says, who cares what they are saying, Sheree at ABL. Thank you to Kelly K, who says, happy Wednesday, ABL. Great show tonight. Thank you. Thank you to TK, who says, Rachel Morin's mom had a good speech today and must watch. Absolutely. Thank you to Walmart Avius, who says, Blue Origin is just a billionaire's carnival ride. Calling yourself an astronaut afterward is like selling a joint and calling yourself El Chapo. That was good. Thank you to Bob K MIT, who says, ABL, guess where Letitia James' second house is? Norfolk. We don't want her here. That's crazy. That's crazy. Yeah, get her up out of the 757, out of the 7 cities. Yeah, let's get her up out of there. Thank you to Michael Critchlow again, who says, I know J.D. Vance is a favorite for 2028 for Republicans, but a John Taffer presidential run would be interesting. I don't know who that is, but shout out to him. Hold on. I want to look up where her house is. I don't want to dox her. Like, what neighborhood is he in? What neighborhood is she in, Bob K? All right, so, we got an article. Okay. I'm seeing that house. I can't really tell where that is. Hold on. Yeah, they're not really telling. They're not saying where it is. So it was $240,000 for about 4 years. It's kind of a modest home. That looks familiar, but I don't really know where that is. I'm gonna call my peoples and I'm gonna get some intel on that. I'm gonna call my Norfolk dudes and be like, yo, I know who to call too. I got the exact right guy to call. If they don't, I know who to call. I already know who to call. If I can't figure it out, I'm gonna figure that out. So yeah, shout out to her. Let me see if I can find it. Hold on. Now I'm curious. Norfolk? Wait a minute. Okay. Now, what neighborhood? Let me see. Norfolk. All right, I'm gonna find it on my own time. But shout out to Bob K for that tip. Great tip, Bob. Let's keep on rocking and rolling. The number to call, 706-406-3287. Again, 706-406-3287. Hey, Steve Kerfofo says, ABL knows a guy who knows a guy. His name is Gaizo. Yeah, I know a guy, knows a guy. Yeah, he could do the thing. He do the thing, eh? So let's go ahead and get to it. Let me put it on the screen right quick. Let me just go ahead and open that up and let's get to it. Again, the number to call is 706-406-3287. The number will always be right there in the ticker, 706-406-3287. Also in the description box. All righty. And let's get to it. Yeah, I'm gonna find that. I'm gonna find where she live at. Now I'm gonna find where she live at now. All righty. 331. You don't know how much speaker to.
Hey ABL, it's Les.
All righty, Les, what's going on?
Happy Wednesday. I'm so happy to finally get on. I've been trying to call the last 2 weeks and no luck, unfortunately.
Well, I'm glad you broke through.
So who do we blame? The white man?
The white man. That's what we blaming the white man all day long.
Oh my goodness, it's so nice to speak with you. And everybody in the chat, I hope everyone's having a good week so far. And I just want to make two comments in regards to the president of El Salvador. You know, every time I've called that we've touched the subject of El Salvador, I've always been a very great supporter of that country, especially because of what he has been doing to turn around his country in regards to how he has been handling all the crimes out there. And one of the great things of what he did is built the prison facility, the system that he has in place now. And you know what's so funny, ABO, which I've seen it not only in the comments here, I've seen it in so many other social media platforms, the comments as well there, that it is like a form of like a Nazi concentration, the way they have the prisoners out there in those in El Salvador. And let me tell you something. I know you can agree with me, hopefully, right? But when you commit a crime and you're going to go do your time for that, I don't think it should be any type of Holiday Inn like the prisons that we have set up here in America.
It shouldn't be. And the thing about it is, it should be punishment. It shouldn't just be, okay, you're going to be living in some beautiful place. I see people that live worse on the street who have committed no crime. I see people living worse in regular apartments who do not commit crime than some of these criminals live. It should be something that's a deterrent so you don't want to go there. Why would I want to commit crime and go to this terrible, horrible place and become a slave? Like, it's a deterrent. So don't commit crime, stay on the correct side of the law, and you won't have any problems.
Correct. And I feel that, I mean, well, I see it and I'm like so in shock how people are like, oh, well, it's so inhumane. Well, no, but you don't put yourself to think about the victims, that a lot of their victims, they snuffed the life out of them. How about that? That was inhumane. These people didn't even get to live their full life because, you know, these gang members go or these criminals go and snuff the life out of these innocent people. That's completely inhumane. So when you go to prison, it is for you to serve that time there, depending on the time that you're there, and it should strictly be you just pretty much existing there. Like here, right in the US, you know, they got TVs, they have all these other rights. A lot of our tax paying dollars, especially in blue states, are paying for their gender transitions. Like, come on, you know, that's not real prison serving time. So I want to give a huge shout out to how El Salvador's actually doing things out there. And not just that, with that illegal, I'm so glad that he got deported, one. And two, I'm so glad that the president of El Salvador is not going to return him, because he spoke it perfectly. What am I supposed to do? Smuggle a terrorist back into the US? That's illegal. You
Exactly.
can't be here illegally, right?
Right.
So shout out to him. And I want to also give a comment on the whole the sugar. How What states was it, ABL, that want to ban the sugar off of the SNAP?
Arkansas and Indiana, also Tennessee.
Okay, good. So I actually want to give a huge shout out to those states, and the response from the people. We already know they're left leaning, right? The response from those individuals is just mind blowing. How are you going to sit here and tell me and tell the people that sugar, there should be exceptions to sugar? No, sugar is crack for the brain. It is crack for the body. Your brain becomes so addicted to sugar that, and we've all felt it, you know, when we eat sugar, when we eat carbs as well, we have this high, and then after that high, your body comes crashing down and you feel tired, you're cranky, and you want more. So in essence, you don't get full because of what you're eating, you're just getting full off of the high that the brain is getting from these sugars and these carbs. And I just want to encourage people to actually start researching about the history of our diet, because even, I don't know if you've heard about this, ABO, but the fortification bill of our foods, especially our flour, back in 1992, have you heard about that?
I haven't.
Okay, so the food pyramid, and everybody's aware of the food pyramid, right?
Mm-hmm.
And even in the food pyramid, which I think is completely deceptive to the world, to everyone in the world, to be honest with you, the food pyramid was introduced in the 70s, okay? And what it says even on top, which is, that's the only thing I agree, eat in very low moderation, okay? um and sugar's on top there. So no one can go ahead and debate that there should be exceptions, there should not. But the fortification of that started when the food pyramid started getting introduced in the 70s. And you had what, 6 to 11 servings of carbs all the way at the bottom. So the majority of your intake had to be carbs, right? And so what happened is that for nearly 2 decades, the FDA and a lot of Congress people that were obviously getting kickbacks from the FDA were over here campaigning and saying that people are no longer eating healthy. People are no longer intaking greens, no longer veggies. So what we need to do is, because veggies are, they have a vitamin, an essential vitamin that we need, that's called folate. And so what they started pushing was this narrative that nobody's eating veggies, so we need to fortify, especially the flour, with folic acid, which folic acid is a synthetic form of folate. So back in 1992, that was introduced and it was passed through Congress, where the flour at least was able to go ahead and put folic acid in it, and that's why they call it bleach flour. And I strongly recommend ABL for not only you, everybody to look into that. Like, stay away from that stuff. If you have the means and you can go ahead and buy like unbleached flour, it will make a total like difference in your diet, because all this ABL sugar, the regular sugar, right, because it's highly processed, staying away from bleached flour, like all this stuff is going to improve your health. And it makes sense why people act the way they act, ABL, because folic acid has also been linked to foggy thinking. You can't think clearly if you're not intaking healthy foods, healthy options.
That's right.
So I just want to leave it as that. Huge shout out. But no, you don't. Your body doesn't need sugar. It will completely survive without it, and it has its benefits, as well as not to develop Alzheimer's, because regular sugar, has been linked to you forming Alzheimer's, which is now being categorized as type 3 diabetes.
Wow. Makes sense to me.
Yeah, so it's so trippy, ABL. It's like this rabbit hole, but if you and anyone else wants to get into it, like, I highly suggest you guys do. And when you guys do, you'll make those changes, and trust me, you'll feel the difference. I went through this rabbit hole a year ago, and I made the changes, and you feel so much better, so much different. So thank you, ABL, for taking my call. I want to wish you and everybody in the chat a wonderful night. God bless. And the little Patriots are busy playing right now, but they've missed you. They've asked if I have been able to call and get on the call. I'm like, no, not yet. But God bless you. Take care of yourself. And until next time, ABL, thank you for taking my call.
Thanks for the call. Appreciate you.
Bye-bye.
All right. Shout out to Les for the call. Most certainly appreciate her. Yeah, a lot of good points that were made there. Yeah, Alzheimer's, that's a big one. That's a really, really, really big one. And I think one of the main things we got to do as humans is consume, first of all, good old H2O, regular water. But this right here is what I love, the coconut water, because it has nutrients too. It has nutrients. The coconut exists for a reason. It exists for a reason. God put all these plant life, God put everything here for us to consume. And the nutrients that's in the things that were put here by God affects you in ways you don't understand. The things we try to do to try to play God, it doesn't work well with our body. We don't understand all of what we need in nutrients to be able to survive, but God does. That's why everything is right here for us. So that's why when you eat a whole food diet, you're going to feel much better. Eat real foods. If you can get straight, if you could just get a farm, if you could do that, if you could just raise food on the farm, that'd be the best way to go about it. That'd be the best diet you can ever have. And I found where she lived at too, Letitia James. She lives over there by Ward's Corner, right by the base, right by NOB, the Norfolk Naval Base. It's like right there, right by 564, where it take you into the base off a terminal, like right there. So, well, it's like West Little Creek. West Little Creek, she's like right there by like Ward's Corner in Titustown. It's kind of a hood area, actually. It's kind of weird if she would live out there, but whatever. Again, a number to call, 706-406-3287. The number is always in the description, also in the ticker, 706-406-3287. 323, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Oh, hey, ABL, hi, this is Joe. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well, but I'm having a hard time hearing you.
Okay, 1 second. Can you hear me now?
I hear you.
First of all, shout out to Les for wishing everybody a great day. It is my birthday, so thank you.
Happy birthday.
And yes, today. And so anyway, I was listening to your show, getting ready to do a few things. And I was kind of intrigued by your segment about the trans sports events. And I was thinking, as you were talking about my experience, I was in the track and field back in the day when Jackie Joyner and Flojo were doing their thing, and I was kind of part of that group. I'm thinking to myself, gee, I wonder how they would. I mean, one of them has passed away. We know who she is, Sojo. But I'm thinking, what in the world, will we ever have great female athletes of our time if this continue on with males pretending to be females in women's sports? Because at the end of the day, it gets down to the Olympics, and will they be there too? I mean, it destroys everything about the sport itself and about the games of the Olympics. As far as I'm concerned, I don't know if they can participate at that level, but I'm sure they can. And, you know, there's a lot of female goats that are out there to this day because there were no males there. We got Wilma Rudolph, Evelyn Ashford, Chrissy Everett. It goes on and on. And none of these people would have been as great as they are if they had to deal with this issue that we deal with today. And I just don't see what's the big deal about, you know, calling it what it is, a spade. You are a male. You don't belong here. You need to go over there and do what you need to do to make yourself better to compete with your peers. It is what it is. And so all those great athletes who have passed on, rest in peace. And thank God you're not, you know, having to like turn in your grave because, you know, you did what you did fairly and it was it's all in the record now. So, but I just don't get it. And so people need to look at this as like, okay, we need to get back to normal because we can't even have an Olympic activity these days without people speculating whether or not this male who's over there running against the female deserves the medal. And I think at the end of the day, that's what sports is all about. It's about being a GOAT in your sport with your peers. It is what it is. And another thing I just want to say, about AOC, whatever her name is, AOC, she's giving like, okay, you don't have to go to Harvard, you don't have to go to Princeton, or even my school, UCLA, to go to be a political figure. You can just be a bartender, run your mouth, and people will draw to you. So why spend all this, you know, $300,000 to get an education when you just go and tend bar and do the same thing and become popular and run the country, whatever she's doing over there. So I can't stand her. I really can't. But nevertheless, I just hope that whatever she does in this upcoming election that's coming up in about 4 years, that she gets called out like Harris did and just loses real bad and gets knocked by whoever's on the Republican side. Because I can't even imagine that a woman like that can just think she has the qualities to be a president of any United States. I think she's a congresswoman, whatever she does over there. She don't even qualify for that. So it's crazy. It really is. So that's about it. And we just need to just get back to normal because none of this stuff makes sense. And we can't go anywhere with these new woke stuff that's just destroying everything we touch that we thought we knew. So that's all I wanted to say. And thank you for taking my call. And I hope everybody is having my birthday wishes for everyone to be happy and healthy right now and living their best life. That's all I want to say.
Thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate you.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Great call. Shout out to the caller. Shout out to you guys again for being here. You guys are the best audience anywhere on these interwebs. If you like what you're hearing so far, please give the video a thumbs up. Like the video, share the video, do all that good stuff. That'll help me out tremendously. Yeah, AOC, I mean, hey, we're going to see what happens if she becomes their nominee. I see that happening. I most certainly do see that happening, but we shall see again. All right, what do y'all think? I think AOC going to make it? You think she's going to be their top runner? 410. You don't know who I'm speaking to.
Tony.
Hello.
Tony.
What's happening?
Hi.
Hello.
Hi. I'm calling because I actually am on food stamps right now. I fell into a bit of a slump right now. It's only temporary. I won't be on them forever and probably not much longer. But who is anybody to tell me what I'm supposed to eat? Just because I'm poor don't mean you got a right to tell me what I should and shouldn't eat. Just like you can't tell rich people what they can and can't eat, you shouldn't be able to tell poor people either just because they fell on hard times and they getting some help from the government. It's not right. It's overreach.
Okay, but see, the solution is don't rely upon the government, because whenever you get anything from the government, they are going to restrict it. They're going to control it. To even get on food stamps, you got to do certain things. You have to be a certain thing. You can't make a certain amount of money. You can't just say, hey, you know what? How you going to tell me how much money I can make? You see how that works? They're going to control it.
I understand what you're saying, but I really think just because somebody falls on hard times and they end up on food stamps does not give them the right to tell them that they can't eat what they want, that I can't eat Cheetos, you know?
Well, I think the thing about it is you're not going to be on it forever, and it's just something to help you through hard times. So if you're going through hard times, do you even need anything extra other than what you need just to be able to get by? It's not going to be permanent.
I need to be able to do what I want to do when I'm ready, like everybody else.
Well, you know what you got to do, right?
Right.
Exactly. So you know what you got to do. What you got to do is get off of the program or make your own money. That's it.
I will get off of the program and I will make my own money, and that is no doubt that I will do that.
There you go.
But the thing is, people have problems sometimes. They do. Okay? Everybody falls into something sometimes. Sometimes life hits you and you don't know what happened. Okay? And that's the way it is sometimes, and that's what happened to me. That's being said, while I'm in this slump, I need some Cheetos. I'm okay. I'm having a hard time already in every other area of my life. You mean to tell me I can't get some Haagen-Dazs?
No Haagen-Dazs, no Cheetos, no Big Back snacks.
I got to have Haagen-Dazs. But I understand what you're saying, but I just know that you probably don't really understand because you've never been in that kind of situation.
Yes, I have. Like, why would you say that?
Well, I mean, have you ever been on food stamps?
No, well, no food stamps, but I've been.
That's what I'm saying.
Wait a minute now. I've had no money. I've been on hard times before.
But that was a long time ago, babe. ABL, you was a kid. Your parents probably was struggling.
No. I'm talking about when I was like 31, 32. I'm only 40. So
yeah, I know you're young.
Yeah, so I've been there. I had $20 in my name to the point where I'm about to get evicted. I almost been evicted when I was like 32 years old. Almost got evicted. But I was able to get up out of that situation. And what I didn't do was try to go get like luxurious items and all that kind of stuff. Cheetos, I get whatever I can get just to be able to eat. Because I know, okay, this is for right now. And then once I get out of my slump, once I get to where I need to be, then I could go do what I want. But until then, I got to do what I got to do for right now.
Yeah. 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 I just know people probably think, oh, well, they on food stamps and we should be able to tell them since they getting help from us. But the thing is, beware, because it could be you tomorrow. You really don't know what life throws your way. You don't want nobody being able to control what you eat just because you're poor.
Well, you know what?
I wouldn't say I'm poor, but I'm temporarily broke. I'm not poor. I'm broke right now.
Well, you know what? Only in America can we even say something like that, because you go to other parts of this world, if they're poor, I mean, you're talking about people just digging in the trash, eating whatever. So only in America can we say, hey, you know what, government, give me my Haagen-Dazs, give me my Big Back snacks while I'm asking you.
I mean, we are spoiled rotten.
And we're
really are.
We're spoiled rotten. We really are.
We really are. I know we are. I know
Yep. All righty. Well, thank you for your call. I definitely appreciate you.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.
All right. Shout out to the caller. Great call. So we got to get that Haagen-Dazs. We got to get them Big Bag snacks on deck. All righty. Shout out to her. Good caller. Hopefully, whatever you're going through, you're able to get up out of that and you're able to bounce back stronger. So shout out to you. I appreciate you for calling. 740, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
This is Jeff from West Virginia. How you doing, ABL?
I'm doing well. About yourself?
Well, you know, I was a little bit offended earlier when you were talking about idiots that didn't know what Teslas looked like. You know, here in West Virginia, that they have to pipe in sunlight. But I did see a Tesla for the first time about 3 days ago here in West Virginia.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was taking my walk. The governor here in RFK wants us all walking a mile a day, so I was out for my walk.
Okay.
And up in the neighborhood, there was a Asian fella, and he had a Tesla up there. He was sharp looking, had New Jersey tags. And I was looking at it real hard because I'd never seen one before. He looked a little nervous though. And he looks at me and he says, "You're not a Kamala Harris voter or something, are you?" And I said, "Oh, no." No, I said, if I was to vote for a woman, my wife would divorce me. I said, if I'd have voted for a woman, my ancestors would come up from their grave and their zombified bony hands would choke me. I said, I can't vote for a woman, fella. So, you know, I had to have some fun with him. I looked at him, I said, but don't you worry, I wrote in Joe Biden. I just thought I'd call and have some fun with you tonight. Like I told you, I don't call a lot anymore, but I do like to call in and listen to you. What do you think about Gayle King's comments about a ride and being offended about it?
Yeah, I think she's just trying to find something to be offended by because really, who cares? It's not a big deal at all.
I don't know. It might be a big deal. Listen, I predict in about 7 years to 10 years, you're going to be able to stand in line for 5 hours at Disney World and take that same ride. And them gals are going to be known as the crash test dummies for a Disney ride.
Hey, that's a crazy way to be known, but hey, they can take it.
That's what I think. But well, man, I just thought I'd call in and say hi and stuff, and I like to laugh and joke a little bit. Anyways, I got something more serious to tell you. You know, the last lady was worried about Cheetos and stuff and all that. On 25th of January, they had to take me to the hospital. I had 3 blocked arteries, and I had a pretty bad heart attack. But I don't want you to worry too much about it because the nurses and doctors are surprised. I can get out and walk more than a mile, and I'm doing really good with it. And, you know, like I've told you, I'm disabled. I was in car wrecks and stuff. A lot of that pain has let up. It's turned out that they didn't realize how bad my heart was. They were missing a lot of it. And so I'm actually doing pretty good with it, even though it is a little scary going through it.
Oh, definitely.
But, you know, I don't get very much money in a month, and the limited insurance I have does not pay for my medicines. And the first round of medicines when I come out of the hospital was $450. Let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. You'll think about Cheetos and Mountain Dew differently when you got to have that medicine that's keeping you alive. And so you want to complain about not being able to buy Cheetos with food stamps or something? You know, at least I'm here in America. If I'd have been in a hut in the Congo or something, I'd have had to sit there on the 25th and died. And those are the facts.
Right on. Absolutely.
And so I want everybody to think about what RFK and what and the changes that are trying to be made. And really, it needs to go a lot deeper than just stopping it on food stamps and government supporting this stuff. It needs to go culturally. We need to actually get disgusted by this stuff, and we need to try to do better. We really do. And, well, that's all I'll say for tonight. Like I say, call in, joke with you a little bit, and talk a little serious. But everybody, you need to take care of your health. Because when you're staring down the barrel of a cardiologist telling you he might have to open your chest up, it ain't real fun. So if you're out there and you're 25, 30 years old, a young man, you're looking in the mirror and you're seeing a 300-pounder looking back at you, get outside and start walking before it really catches up with you. I'm giving you a warning.
Thank you for your call, man. Hopefully everything is good. Hopefully you have a full recovery and you stay with us for a lot longer.
Well, I sure will, man. I'm going to keep up with it, I promise you. But I'll be calling in and listening, so y'all have a good one.
Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
Bye, buddy.
Hey, that was a great call. Fantastic call. Hey, he telling you, look, you're 25, especially if you're young like that. Oh, man, you young, 25 years old. Man, what they say, the youth is wasted on the young. That's the realest thing they ever said in this world. That's the realest thing they ever said in this world. You're 25 years old. Once you get, the older you get, the harder it is for you to be able to have that vitality and have that youth and energy you had at that age. So that is the time to get healthy if you're not healthy. If you're a big back, rolls on your back, and you're young like that, you can reverse it. If you're looking like Cleveland Brown or something like this, or what's that, Peter from Family Guy, you can fix it. You can reverse it. Don't wait until you have a bad episode to try and change. Change it now. 619, you're online. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, ABL, it's Kathleen in San Diego. You've had so many great calls tonight. Just about like the food stamps, it was really interesting how the caller after that kind of brought it all back together. I don't think anyone wants to tell people what they can spend their money on, but we do want to have some say in where our tax dollars go, and it's important to recognize that those tax dollars now, if they're going towards sugar and junk food, we're also going to be spending more tax dollars down the road later on healthcare.
Absolutely. That's just what it is. And that's the whole purpose. It's like we're subsidizing this stuff. We're paying for it. Why would we pay for a thing that'll make us pay more money in the healthcare costs? Because that's where you're going to end up. You're going to end up in a situation where it's got to be a lot of money spent for your health.
Exactly. You pay at the grocery store now, or you pay later at the doctor's office or the hospital. And everyone's right on with food. You know, we start to mess around with things. We take out the folate, and then we put this fake form of it back in. And so we start to mess with God's creation. It becomes a mess. And some people are really sensitive to that synthetic folate. So go and live on a farm. You know, everyone's right on. I also wanted to touch on but COVID in California. Everyone's still getting boosted, still wearing masks. So that's the craziness in California.
I don't understand. Like, is it a religion? Is it like some kind of faith, like a cult of vaccination, the cult of Anthony Fauci?
Yeah, I think it kind of is. People are very cultish about it. I see a lot of people in that zone. You know, I was working in healthcare, almost lost my job, went through the whole rigmarole during COVID. Anyway, that's a whole other story. But the callers have been great tonight, and I think, what was it that your first caller was talking about first, right before she got on the nutrition topic? Gosh, I wanted to comment on that. Anyway, it's great to talk to you guys tonight, and take care, everybody. I can't remember, so I'm going to let you go for someone that's better on track tonight.
Thank you for your call. Definitely appreciate you.
All right, take care, guys.
All right. Shout out to the caller. Great call. I want to speak to you. See something you online?
Hey, what's going on, man?
What's happening?
Hey, I was listening to you, man. So, you don't agree with the Supreme Court decision to bring the guy from El Salvador back to the U.S.?
That's not what the decision said.
No, I'm talking about you. You agree with them? They said they have to bring him, facilitate him to come to the U.S.
That is not what the decision said.
The decision say the U.S., the government has to facilitate for him to come back to the United States for the hearing to his due process.
So does that mean they have to bring him back or facilitate it? That's two different things.
I mean, the United States have the power to bring him back. You know that.
Like, how are they going to do that?
Well, they just have to act to El Salvador to release him from the jail, and then they could fly him from from the El Salvador airport to the United States.
Well, they asked him. They asked him, and he said no. So now what?
Do you really believe? Oh, come on, ABL.
He said it right there. Listen. Wait a minute. He said it right there in the White House. He said no.
He said it because Trump, and then they're complicit. You know that the taxpayer funding is paying him to support his prison there because he can't manage financially that prison, and we paying them. We paying the El Salvador, pay him to have these people, the migrants that don't have due process, to be sent there. Do you hear when they were talking he thought the mic was off? Do you know what Trump told him?
Yeah, Sunday Americans there too. They want to act up.
Oh, okay. So that means a business that they got together.
So at the end of the day, the president of El Salvador said no. So what are you going to do? Like, what would you?
He didn't really say no. He said, "Look, I cannot smuggling someone that is being sent from the United States as a terrorist." That's what he said.
Okay,
well,
so
labeling as a terrorist, number one.
Wait. I think that the president of El Salvador understands what the request is. The request is that some people in this country want him to come back. So he knows what the request is, and he did not say that he would do it. So, what are you going to do?
It's not that some people, the court, we have three branches of government.
No. The court said facilitate. The court did not demand a return. That's a difference. You can't just say, excuse me, I'm not done. You can't just say the Supreme Court said anything they didn't say. They said facilitate. That does not mean you must go get him back. That's not the same thing. Facilitate means, excuse me. Facilitate means if you're able to bring him back, you got to facilitate it. Okay, give him a plane ride, give him whatever, pay for it. That's what that means. But go ahead.
Well, they can bring him back. So you believe that we should not have due process in America?
Well, due process for what?
So do you understand the Constitution? Do you understand have you read any of the clause of the Constitution?
Look, at the end of the day, here's what's going on. Now, we can say due process, we can say whatever, but at the end of the day, let's look at the situation for what it is. He's in El Salvador. He's a citizen of El Salvador. He's not a U.S. citizen. So how are we going to demand that the president give him back when he says no? How are we going to do that? That's their citizen in their prison.
Number one, he has no judiciary process. The United States send him to the El Salvador with the consent that is a terrorist. No evidence have been found that it's a terrorist.
There's plenty of evidence. There's plenty of documentations. There's a lot of things. There's court proceedings. There's all of that. It's been going on.
What court? Show me what court you're talking about.
Well, what you want me to show you right now on the phone? How am I do that?
What to tell me? You could tell me.
Well, there's court proceedings. You could look it up yourself. I can't pull it up right now on the phone.
So no. What crime has been charged?
Huh? What crime?
What crime has been charged? The last time I checked. Do you remember? Do you know the Patriot Act? Do you know why some of the provisions of the Patriot Act were eliminated? Do you know?
Do I know about what now?
Do you remember during the Patriot Act? Probably you were playing video games at that time. When they passed the Patriot Act in 2001.
I don't understand what you're saying. Okay. You gotta speak English.
Do you know what the Patriot Act is? Patriot Act.
Speak English.
Okay. Okay. So I'm gonna say this slowly. The Patriot Act was a bill after 9/11 that the Congress passed.
Oh, you're saying Patriots Act. Let's try pronouncing our words properly before you try to just bombast me with.
So you call the BS. So let me help you out. When they passed that bill, Congress passed that bill unanimously. The court said you cannot have this bill as a law because it violates the Constitution of the United States. So now we're going back to the same problem. Even Trump went even farther, violating the Constitution of the United States, violating the clause of the Constitution. What is the main job of the president?
The main job of the president to be the chief executive? Be chief executive of the United States or the military? Like, what do you mean? What you trying to get at? What's funny? Just say what you got to say.
Well, you have no idea what is the main job of the president of the United States.
The main job? There's a lot of jobs, but like the main job, that'd be up to your opinion. Because some would just be quiet. Some would say that he is the chief executive of the military. He's in charge of the military. Some say he's in charge of the whole government. Like, what's your actual? What? Just get to your point.
That's what I love these YouTubers. They want to become political commentators.
Just get to your point. Like, you're trying to like prove. You're trying to like come up here and ask a bunch of questions that I'm not prepared for.
Bro, let me help you.
Just say what you got to say.
Tell me what is the job of the president.
Okay, go ahead. Tell me.
The main job of the president of the United States is to preserve and protect the Constitution of the United States. If he can't do that, he's not doing his job.
Okay. So how is he not?
If the government can't protect my liberty, then he's not doing his job.
Your liberty? What you mean your liberty? Are you a citizen?
Does not matter. The Constitution doesn't specify you're a citizen.
Your liberty? What you mean? You're not even a citizen. Get out of here.
Doesn't matter. Are you ready, Constitution? I'm going to say it one more time. Are you ready, Constitution?
Okay. Yes. All right. Look, man. Look, we're not going to do all this. Okay. Cite this particular thing from the Constitution on page 18. We're not going to do all that. Like, get to your point, and I'll move on to the next caller.
What is the due process?
Look. At the end of the day, it doesn't even matter. Who cares? Because you're talking about the laws and whatnot. Now, excuse me, you're talking about the laws and whatnot. Now, I thought the president had the duty to protect the constituents of this country, to protect this nation. Meanwhile, we let 20 million illegal aliens in under Joe Biden. So miss me with all this talk about what the president should do, Constitution, all that kind of stuff. At the end of the day, he is where he needs to be. If for some reason we were able to get this dude back, he would go right back to where he's at already. So what's the point of doing it? There is no point at the end of the day. There's no purpose in doing it. It's a political dog and pony show. That's what it is. You know it. It's a political dog and pony show. That's why that guy went down there talking about, yeah, can I see him? Didn't even call ahead of time to see if he can arrange it. Just went down there for a press conference in front of an interpreter like a douche, like an idiot at the end of the day. It's a political dog and pony show.
So do you believe America should be sent there? Do you believe America should send to the prison of Salvador?
Well, it depends on who they are. You're talking about murderers, serial killers, sure.
So look. You shouldn't be commenting politics. You don't understand the basics of this nation. You shouldn't be commenting politics.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
You should dedicate to play video games.
Okay.
Stop characterizing and actually making more ignorant your audience.
Okay.
It's against international law according to the U.S.
At the end of the day, look, y'all broke all kind of laws. So what? We got to just reverse what y'all did. And at the end of the day, sir, he is, if you're talking, nobody can hear you, nor can I. So you could be talking up a storm right now, and I don't hear a thing. At the end of the day, he is where he needs to be. There's no purpose in bringing him back here to send him right back to where he's at. It's stupid. It's ridiculous. Everybody knows it. And the funny part about this is that the American people, whether they be on the left or on the right, majority of them agree with what I'm saying. They don't agree with what you're saying, especially since y'all broke all type of laws and violated the rights of so many Americans over the past few years, spying on us, making us get vaccinations, all kind of stuff. Please save the moral hand wringing. Please save all this about the law and the Constitution. You don't really care about it at all. But have a good night. All right, so shout out to him. Man, please. Oh, the Constitution, man, y'all care nothing about that. Y'all said it's a sheet of paper from 1,000 years ago. It doesn't matter, all kind of stuff. He is where he needs to be. And that's that on that. And he's a citizen of that country and not a citizen of our country. So how dare we just say, yo, give us your citizen back and let's send them right back to your country. What's the purpose? It's stupid. It's just a political thing to try and attack the president as a per usual. 504, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to? 504, hello. Going once, going twice. Maybe it was my phone. I don't know what happened. Can you hear me? 740, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to? Hello?
Yes, Derek. This is Derek.
All righty, what's happening?
Hey, ABL. I've been subscribers of yours for a couple years now. I mostly agree with just about everything you talk about in your videos, but there are a couple instances now and then where I disagree with you. And one of those things I disagree with you about is the Kamalo Anthony situation.
Hey man,
I believe
we made it the whole night without talking about it, but I'll give you a little bit of time. Go ahead.
All right. Well, from what I understand, from what the stuff I gathered, I believe that it was actually self-defense.
Okay, so we on the same page.
Oh, you agree that it was self-defense?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I must have missed that video where you talked about it, because so many conservatives are actually saying that it wasn't self-defense, that it was murder. So I just assumed that you were in the same boat with those other conservatives.
I'm saying, yeah, but nah, I said it was self-defense. And it was a whole big thing. We talked. So I did the video on it, and then we did some live streams, like these kind of live streams, and I was talking about it, and I was venting them feverishly. But I've not talked a lot. I've not talked more about that as it progressed, because I don't want to keep fanning the flames. What I want to see is the whole court process play out, and then we get to see who did what and what's going on in the end.
Yeah, and I know they do have a videotape too, so I'm interested to see the videotape and see what that has to say about everything. But yeah, but for whatever reason, I just assumed that you were on the opposite side, just like so many conservative YouTubers are. And I've noticed something every time you go, I'm not saying all, but most YouTube conservatives, when you disagree with them in the comments, they will delete your comment. And you don't do that, thankfully, because you actually do believe in freedom of speech. But I think these other hypocritical conservative YouTubers that say, I believe in freedom of speech, but then they delete people's comments that disagree with them. And, that's big reason why I'm a supporter of yours, because you actually speak on your truth, you know what I mean? Like how you actually are and everything. So I really appreciate that from you, man. And, that's basically all I got. All I wanted to say was the Colin Anthony, my opinion, from what I know, is self-defense, 100%. And there's a lot of reasons why it was self-defense.
I'm right there with you, man. Thank you for your call. Definitely appreciate you.
Thank you, ABL. Keep doing your thing, man.
Will do. All right, shout out to the caller. Yeah, I wanted to avoid that tonight, but I figured out to get at least one call about that. Now, to speak about the whole thing about free speech, yeah, I don't really delete comments like that. I let everybody have their opinion. The only time a comment might get deleted is if you drop in N-words and stuff like that, but that'll automatically kind of be filtered by YouTube. So I don't even touch those comments. Those get automatically filtered. So I don't even really be like, I'm not a comment deleter kind of person. 931, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Yes, hello, ABL. My name is Casey.
All righty, what's going on?
Not a whole lot. Can you hear me good?
I hear you well.
All right. Well, I was calling because I wanted to talk about the food stamps. I do receive food stamps. I have been for a few years now. And I live in Tennessee, by the way. I'm in Middle Tennessee. And I only receive just a little over $50 a month right now. And excuse me. I really do like the idea of the food stamps, of them being basically being controlled. Because I'm about 20 pounds overweight. I like the idea of the food stamps being monitored, because I really would like them to be spent on things like salads and vegetables, fruits, things like that. My son, he's a special needs child. A lot of times he only wants to eat things like hamburgers, maybe hot dogs, things along those lines. And I would spend my money on that. But for me, I would really like to buy vegetables and fruit, that kind of thing. And I just think that that's a good thing to do.
Yeah, it definitely is a great thing to do. So the whole thing with the food stamps, I think the main thing is we just got to keep, if we're going to be paying for stuff from the government, we cannot fund unhealthy lifestyles, because all we're going to do is get those same people in the hospital having health problems and be paying for that too. So it's just kind of a thing that makes sense. It's a way to save money and save people in the process.
Yes, I definitely agree with that. I think that's a great idea.
Right on.
So I just want to go ahead and call and just give my input on that. I think that a lot of people who do get food stamps, that they would have different input, sort of like the caller that who called in earlier and was talking about the Cheetos and everything. So I'd like to go ahead and buy her a lot of Cheetos and see, I know she would definitely like that, but I also would like to buy her a lot of vegetables and a lot of fruit and see how she would do with that.
Right on. Absolutely.
So that's all I had to say.
Thank you for your call. Definitely appreciate you.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Shout out to the caller. Great call. But yeah, hamburgers and hot dogs. When I was a boy, that's all I would eat. When I was like young, like maybe like 9, 10. Well, I would eat more than that. But if you were to ask me, hey, little ABL, what do you want to eat? Hamburger? Hot dog? 504 the line. How much speaker to?
Hey, ABL, it's Alien Spaceship.
All righty, what's going on?
All right, shout out to you and chat. Excellent callers tonight. And yeah, earlier, I think when you were taking my call, I didn't even know that you were able to get it. It just, some kind of phone glitch, but I'm glad that we're here now.
Right on.
All right. So with Ivan, a lot of the, I think he did very well with Ivan. He, these different points and stuff he's making, it doesn't really make any sense because he's talking about it's like people didn't really know what he meant. We thought it was a Pedro Act, but he meant the Patriot Act. Yeah, and it seems like what these liberals do, in my opinion, they'll go to, if the Constitution does something that they don't like, they say the Constitution isn't, something older. But then if it's something they agree with, they'll talk about the Constitution all the time.
Oh, absolutely. It's funny how that works. They pick and choose when they want to use that as something to champion.
Right. And also something else, the different callers are talking about the different food stamps and stuff. And yeah, I think that, the original intentions were that it would help people in need and then they would get out of it. And then there's this, concept about if the system is being abused or not. And I think that it would be good for everybody to be self-reliant without the government. But I think that, people should not eat, unhealthy stuff, and they should at least eat healthy things and understand the concept of the American way of self-reliance. And I think that people fighting over these silly things, I don't think it's the most necessary, but it's interesting to see what they have to say.
Right on.
Yeah. And yeah, I saw the thing with El Salvador and Trump. He was talking to him. And yeah, because you were saying that the person, was already a citizen of that place and he would have been sent back to that country. And the media completely came up with something else. And I'm glad that you were able to clear it up because, the media said like there's something that wasn't really true, but you went and straightened it out.
Yeah, the media, they're known for doing that. They will sell you pretty much anything because they have a narrative to push, and that is to be anti-Trump.
Right. And I think that everything in moderation, in my opinion, is good, but it is best for people to eat as healthy as possible so this topic is about the food stuff, the junk food in general. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what RFK does, and I was, wondering that when he would get in, and now he's there, and we're seeing it take effect. And yes, I think that it would be good for people to eat as healthy as possible. And Medi in the chat, she was talking about, she knew about how the Cheetos are made, and she said it's disgusting. So I think that, with the way they make these fast food chips and stuff, it may not be appetizing.
Yeah, right on. I mean, people, they don't really understand what they're eating. And I think if they did understand, then they would think twice about eating it.
Right. And yeah, high fructose, for instance, in the fruits, you'll have a healthy amount of it in there that won't cause you a problem. But like say with soft drinks and stuff, as I said, people drink soft drinks in moderation. It's okay, in my opinion. But if people that drink it excessively, the high fructose corn syrup is not good for the health of a person because it overstimulates the body, to kind of put it in layman's terms. But if someone ate like some fruit from the fruit itself or some sort of fruit drink, it would be much better, because the way they do this, it's kind of like artificially making food, in my opinion, where you're getting something unnatural.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah, and I am surprised and appalled to see that AOC was a potential candidate. It's certainly a downgrade from all the people who come in the past, like, way in the past from the Democrat Party. And yeah, they're just appealing to more and more of these people, these confused people. And these people look like clowns. Like, I'm not judging anybody. People can have their own styles. It's really a problem if they try to cause problem to other people. That's my biggest issue. But a lot of these people from what you show, they seem like a bunch of clowns, in my opinion.
I agree. They do seem like that, and they are trying to become like legitimate people. But it's hard for me to see a legitimate person when there's literally a caricature of a legitimate person in front of my face.
Right. And also, I heard about the ladies going in space. I heard about that, and it was just like a ride. It wasn't like they're staying out like the astronauts that were stuck in space. It was just a little trip, but they get angry when you call it a trip. And I think women can do great things, but when they emphasize it in the media the way they're doing, and they're putting men down, I think this will cause problems between the two genders. And I think both could have a great role in it. For instance, one of the people that was stuck in space, it was a woman also, and she was able to be strong and then come back down with the group. So I think that what they're doing is causing more division and destruction to our country.
Absolutely. Right on.
Right. And also with I'll say about the weather where I am, it's like hot kind of during the day, and the spring is really starting to take root, so to speak. And at night it's kind of chilly. Is it like that where you are?
Yeah, it's kind of like that. And sometimes in the morning, if I get outside like 8, 9 a.m., it'll be a little chilly. But once the sun is out, it still feels pretty good.
Right. And another thing I was keeping up with is the Lori Daybell trial. Have you heard about that going on?
No, I haven't.
All right. So there's Chad Daybell and Lori Daybell, and he was not all people in the Latter-day Saints faith do think like this, but he created a cult inside of that, and he had his wife and then her ex-husband and his kids killed, also Tylee and JJ, and he was given sentenced to death deletion last year, and now she's being on trial for the deletion of her ex-husband and this thing. It's a big thing going on, and she's defending herself, and she's a total idiot clown.
Wow, interesting.
All right. Okay, ABL, that's all to say for this call. Thank you for taking my call.
Thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate you.
Okay, bye.
All right. Shout out Alien Spaceship. Great call. And shout out to you guys as well. It is past my bedtime. Time for me to go ahead and wrap it on up, put the bow on top. Shout out to you guys for joining. Great calls tonight. Fantastic calls. Even the guy who don't speak no English. I'm just playing. I didn't know what he was saying. He's talking about the Petroac. I'm like, what that mean? Petroac? I thought he was talking about gas. I'm like, when are we gassing the car? Where we going? We going to take a ride to space? Like, where we going? Patriot Act? It's like, bro, let's start pronouncing the T's. But anyway, he speaks better English than I speak the penny. So I can't even really try to joke too much. Okay, I say Joe Hablo Espanol. That's how I sound. So I'm not very good either. But shout out to you guys. I appreciate y'all for being here. I'll be back live again on Saturday. Same bat time, same bat place. 8 p.m. Eastern time to right around right now, 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And I'm here all throughout the week putting out pre-recorded videos. You guys, please visit the merch store, ablmerch.com. Visit me on the Rumbles. If y'all have not seen me over there yet, let me go ahead and just show you that right quick. Shout out to the Rumble people. If you guys want an alternative way to check me out, I am on the Rumbles. There we go. Right there. You see the name. Anthony Brian Logan. I am verified over there. Y'all go check me out. We got 1.36, 1,360 followers, subscribers over there. Y'all follow me and get the number boosted all the way up on the Rumbles. Alrighty. And of course, this is an audio streaming podcast you're listening to right now. It'll be available on your favorite audio streaming platforms, such as Google Play, Spotify, Apple, iTunes, etc. Link for that will be in the description box, or just go to your favorite audio streaming platform and search ABL Live. I shall pop right on up. All righty. Do I have super chats to read? I'll read those right quick. Then I'll wrap it on up. But before I do that, again, shout out to y'all for being here. Could not do the show without you. Thank you to everybody for watching, retweeting, super chatting. Without you, there is no me. Thank you to the mods for keeping the trolls in check. I appreciate y'all for that as well. I have one super chat here that I did not read yet. Thank you to Walmart Tavius, who says, I went to Peru and talked to an old man hauling heavy bricks up a hill in a crappy wheelbarrow. He told me, there, you don't work, you don't eat. Exactly. Exactly. We are so spoiled in this country. The caller earlier said it perfect. Only in America can you demand the government give you chicken tendies. It's like, is the government your mom? Mom, bring tendies down. Turn the internet back on. It's like, what they be doing? We're spoiled people. When I was broke, when I didn't have any money, man, listen, I'm just trying to eat just to not be hungry. That's it. I'm just trying to keep myself going. I'm not trying to really be going out here and getting all kind of fancy things. Once I'm able to kind of build myself up and now I got some money to spend, okay, now I can go get the little fancy little item I want. But check it out, though. Here's something else. I don't want y'all to get money and then become big backs either. Some of y'all will get a bunch of money and then go spend it right on food. I saw it during COVID-19. A lot of y'all got fat during COVID from that money, okay? You never had so much money before. Y'all getting 10, 15 bands in cash. Y'all went out and ate all that. Hey, where'd you spend all your money during COVID? You got 40 grand on a PPP loan through fraud. Where'd it go? In my belly? In my belly? Y'all went out there and bought all the foods and just guzzled that. Ruth Chris, J. Alexander's, all of that. Let's not do that. But that'll pretty much be a wrap for me. Shout out to you guys. I appreciate y'all as always. But until next time, y'all be safe. I'm out. And peace.